Jobber, I swear to God, if you're the first voice we hear on here is you going, we'll do it live, I'm gonna scream.
That's what you pay him for. He's got the personality we need to keep the bucks rolling in. The viewers really come for him, let's be real. They come for him and me and Dark Lore and Zoro, really.
Crazy.
People come for
So
me,
they
what?
come for everyone here except for our boss. Okay, wonderful.
Can I open the live stream, please? Is it running? Can you hear us? Can I open the live stream, please?
I hear something.
Yeah, okay, we're good. Sorry, my phone, it wasn't letting me click the live stream on my channel for some reason, so I couldn't actually see what was happening.
So was Jobber the first thing that got sounded on the live stream?
Yep.
Unknown.
Anyway, we're live. Welcome to NT Cast Returners matchup. We're totally not almost an hour late because we were talking about other shit for like an hour.
Yeah, we weren't an hour late,
definitely.
okay? We were only 45 minutes late.
Howdy, everyone. To explain how this works, because apparently people don't understand how this works, I post in my community tab, hey, we're going to be talking about so-and-so thematic matchups today as matchups with returners. Give me 2 of your favorite matchups. We go through your matchups. We'll see the 2 you have. I'll pick one. Hopefully, I can manage that right now. I pick one from each person that we want to talk about the most, and then I put it in this, and then we add some of our own submissions in there, so we have essentially more to talk about that we're passionate about. And so we have, I think, 26 matchups to talk about today. And I say we jump into... Oh, also, everyone introduce yourselves, starting with Sherm.
Hey, I'm Sherm. I'm just chilling.
I gotta... Hold on. And then Zoro.
Hello, I am Zoro.
Oh, why can't I... Oh, I see how I'm fucking up. Sorry. And then Jobber.
Yo, what's up, everybody? I'm just a jobber. that's it. Yeah.
And then Dark Lore.
Last, but certainly not least in the introductions.
Last but least.
Fuck you.
Hello,
I'm
everyone.
like
This
4
year so
feet
far.
away from my microphone, so someone tell me if I sound bad.
I
No,
think
you
you're
sound fine. Yeah.
You sound like a
if I-
Sherm.
Yeah, that's definitely a Sherm. We got Crotz going number 1 because Sherm had said he'd done some research on this. So tell me
Yes.
about Naruto. I know about Naruto and Roman Reigns, mind you, but I want you to tell me what you know about Naruto and Roman Reigns.
Naruto I know a lot about, and I'm gonna assume that a lot of people in the Versus community know the basics of Naruto. He's the he's a ninja from the village hidden in the leaves. He has a fox demon sealed inside of him. He became the village leader after many years of strife. A big thing is that he was very ostracized and not accepted by the community, despite coming from this. He was set up for success by being the 4th Hokage's son, but then it all just went wrong. Yeah. But I think the really interesting part is why this matchup works, because it is a WWE matchup, and I know that for some people that can be a little weird to consider. Basically, this matchup, the primary connection is that despite being like set up for success, they were hated by the people that were supposed to accept them. Funnily enough, in Roman Reigns' case, the people that was supposed to accept him but didn't is us, the real life fans of the show. We ostracized Roman Reigns, gave him the sad Naruto swing set music, and then he decided to. He eventually gained the favor of the crowd, but he did it in an opposite way of Naruto. Naruto became a hero to the village, which got them to accept him. Everyone was saying he should have just been a villain because no one appreciated him, but he was like, no, I'm gonna do what's right. My ninja ways to keep going, and he succeeded in eventually being a hero that people stopped mistreating him.
Roman Reigns, everyone was like, "Man, you gotta keep going," and he's like, "Actually, I'm gonna be a villain now," and everyone actually kind of liked him as a villain. So this is a hero versus villain matchup of like the people that are now beloved by the people that once hated them. There's also a lot of interesting comparisons to the Hokage, like Roman Reigns wants to become the head of his family forest, and you can kind of compare that to the Hokage. I think this is debatable as well, which is fun.
That's fucking
I think
crazy.
You can arguably scale both to universal, which is very funny. Yeah, in terms of dynamic, it also works pretty fun. People would be like, well, there's no way Roman Reigns, like just a human brawler, could keep up with Naruto. I think if they scale similar, you do something really fun. Roman Reigns has a famous move called the spear, which is basically just like a flying tackle that he will use it to counter moves. Like someone will try to do like an elbow drop on him, and then he will like flying tackle jump at them to like counter that. It's like, oh, he hit him with the spear. We have Naruto in his big Kurama avatar, like 100 feet in the air, and then we have Roman Reigns like jump at him, and like it's like that when Momoshiki does it, he like goes through the avatar and spears Naruto out of the avatar. I think it'd be sick. Yeah, they just have a brawl. He can fight with the clones because they have a lot of fights called like one versus all, where like the character will be jumped and they kind of like an action movie just kind of fight off everyone at once. Like they'll do a suplex and take out one guy, and they'll do an elbow like clothesline and drop the other guy. So you could easily have him fight a bunch of Naruto's clones. I think the hand-to-hand works very well. Yeah, it's a lot of stuff. He gets energy attacks in the mobile game, so you could have him shooting lasers. It's a fun time.
Yeah, Roman was a member of something called the Shield, and what they would do, there was a 3-man group where they would come in at the end of a fight and like steal the victory. But when they were trying to really push the new face of WWE, they were like, Roman, people like him, people love him. But he wasn't really proficient in technique and wrestling, and he wasn't really proficient in like mic work. So like you know, when they're insulting each other back and forth, whatever, like he wasn't great at it, so people didn't like him. But there's a very key moment where one of his old Shield members takes away his victory of a match by hitting him with a chair, and like steals that moment of glory for him. And come around to, I think either last year or the year before, Roman Reigns' story had like either an end or like a flip to it, where he was about to win like the biggest match. Like they had like Undertaker, John Cena, they had all these big ass name wrestlers in the ring, and he had essentially beaten them all. But as he was about to deliver the final blow to the final guy, he looks down at his old Shield mate that took his like victory from him before, and he couldn't let go of that rage inside of him, and he ends up taking a chair, hitting that guy, causing Roman to lose, hit like the biggest achievement in his life, essentially, by having the other guy take that opportunity that he's not focusing on him and taking Roman down for good. And I think that is such a fun fucking story to talk about in like an analysis or like something like that. I just think his story is really interesting.
Out.
It's really interesting. I find Roman's story really interesting.
I also think we need to touch on the dialogue, because Roman Reigns is a notoriously like really good shit talker. So that would go really well with like Naruto's attempts at talk no jutsu. I think that would that's dialogue, underrated aspect of this fight.
Naruto's gonna tell him he's got a shitty family.
Yeah.
Whoa.
Oh dang. I'm not sure.
Going for the throat.
Not sure. I'm trying to get my thoughts together on this match, but I don't know exactly what to think about. Like I mean, deadass, I don't know. This is interesting having a WD wrestler, and to be fair, like I do like Itachi versus the Undertaker, so that's something. I don't know this guy though, but I feel like some of these matchups kind of like it's like if I put Sukuna up against like I don't know fucking Kendrick Lamar. Yeah, I put Sukuna up against like Kendrick Lamar, and the track name is called like the King of Euphoria or something. Like I like I don't know what these matches. I don't know. I think we could do some cool stuff.
There was a trend for Eminem matchups, and I think that's really funny.
Dario said, in quotes, "I was like you."
I was like you. Imagine someone suplexing the Kurama avatar, but they're still like human size. So you just see him like
The Hulk versus Godzilla dynamic.
the Hulk versus Godzilla dynamic we all wanted to see.
Bro, Roman has all 7 tails, and he swings them.
It's the Bowser Mario.
Yeah.
What were you saying before, Zoro?
Scared to do this, but we aren't.
True.
What were you saying before, Zoro?
I was just saying, like, it's weird that we have, like... It's weird that, like, WWE and Naruto has crossed over with 2 good matchups. Like, I'm just a little baffled by that.
Itachi Undertaker. I don't know much about Undertaker, to be fair, but it does sound cool.
Yeah.
I would unironically love to do this at some point.
So
it's
this is
bordering my favorite Naruto matchup.
this next one is Jonathan Joestar versus Leon Belmont.
Yep, Leon
Yeah,
Belmont.
yeah.
And, the basics between this one is obviously they are the first members of generational vampire hunters of their respective series and are the basic first heroes of their family-long legacy. And I've been wanting to do a JoJo versus a Belmont matchup for a while, and I think this is the best one to this because Part 1, JoJo doesn't really have stands, but it does lean furthest into like the more gothic horror aspect that the show started with like vampire Dio and whatnot. So I feel like thematically this is the closest the series will get to like a good vampire hunter matchup between both of them.
Yeah.
Okay, so we know that Jonathan has, he's very good at punching. He punches the best, you might say. He's got his Hamon, which is like channeling energy of the sun. Don't know what that does to a Belmont, but probably burns him or something. And makes him more powerful in general.
Yeah, it doesn't burn people, but he can do a lot of weird stuff with it. Like, he can use it to, like, connect a bunch of leaves together to form, like, a big hang glider. He can use it to, like, extend the length of his own arm so that he can punch longer. And he's also strong enough to keep his own hand on fire. He's willing to do through that in order to, like, attack with fire, so...
Now, do you give him pluck?
Well,
Of course.
yeah. It's like his main
obviously.
sword. And then obviously Leon, he has all the standard Belmont equipment of like, the sub-weapons, the vampire killer whip and whatnot.
Yeah, he's
If
got
this was-
whips, armors, special rings that can like augment his own abilities, a bunch of different equipment, like earrings, necklaces, capes, a bunch of different stuff like that in order to augment abilities, in order to be able to like make himself stronger. But he also has like standard stuff like an axe, a cross, in order to like be able to like fling thing in order to attack at a distance. He's got holy water, knives, and a bunch of different healing items. So you can definitely have him keep up with all the different Hamon stuff that Jonathan's pulling out with his own equipment.
Which one is Leon from? Which Castlevania?
He's from a prequel game that's on like the Nintendo 64. Hold on, let me find the name.
Oh,
There
is
is
it
some-
the 3D one?
Modicum of debate
Yeah.
to this matchup because there are some Hamon users who, if they touch you, can just turn off your brain, which is very helpful in a fight to the death. I don't know if Jonathan would necessarily go to that, but if he sees someone massively stronger than him, he'd probably get creative and try something like it. So
Well,
mostly
I-
comes down to speed,
Yeah.
I would think.
I don't know if
let's-
Jonathan would be the kind of guy who'd go for like something dishonorable, quote unquote, like that, but
Well, keep in
It is
mind,
a
right?
fight to the death.
Like something to keep in mind, like with Hamon, like at least like to specify, like right, like so when like let's say when Jonathan punches somebody like with Hamon or punches like an object, right? Like the Hamon's like automatically gonna like travel through their body, right? So like for example,
Right.
like when he went against Tanjiro, right? It's like like, let's say Tanjiro is like, I don't know, like he's fucking planetary or something. I don't know. That guy got some roids, bro. And like the main like win con's like, oh, all Jonathan has to do is either punch like Haman into his heart or punch Haman into his brain. It's like, well, Jonathan doesn't really necessarily need to like know or need to do this because like if he's like doing like a whole like barrage of fists like against like Tanjiro's whole body, right? He's gonna hit every section, including the hard stuff, like whether he's like actually targeting or like knowingly or not, right? So like the Haman, like no matter what, like if Jonathan punches this guy with Haman, it's gonna go through him. If he barrages him, like his whole body, like that guy's kind of cooked. Basically, is what I'm saying.
Is Jonathan much stronger?
I don't think Castlevania characters are cracked in terms of strength.
Yeah.
Holy shit.
Yeah,
They're cracked.
Yeah, Castlevania characters are like unironically incredibly strong. So
yeah, they're like flipping He-Man levels of strength over there.
Yeah,
like I heard some crazy shit. Like they could get to from the games, like it gets like UD or higher or something. Like I've heard some crazy stuff like from them games, bro.
Yeah, like
we don't play.
Yeah, Dracula.
My favorite
is powered.
Castlevania matchup is Maria Renard versus Princess Peach, and that is a debatable matchup for what that'll tell you about where Castlevania normally sits at.
Yeah.
I actually heard that Maria wins that one, so like, it is definite. Castlevania is definitely very cracked.
So is Jonathan just gonna get stonewalled again?
I mean,
well,
you
like,
could get out. What do you mean again? He won the first time.
No, sorry.
won
It's
the
a very from what you guys have said, it's very common that JoJo's characters get stonewalled by a lot of other characters.
It's mainly
Yeah,
the
I think-
speed and hacks that like pulled like Jonathan through. Like let's say like basically he gets stonewalled. Let's say by this Castlevania character, but if Jonathan is able to like land a hit on him like or a barrage with Haman on the guy, like he's just gonna like go straight through his durability. Like it's like fuck him up.
Is that how Haman
Basically.
works?
And like he scales to like Dio's speed from like, and Dio like was able to keep up with Star Platinum without even using his own one. So Jonathan does have a pretty good speed argument.
Yeah,
If
Dio
you
was
believe
actually
Jonathan
in a weakened
is
state during part
significantly
3,
faster,
and yet Dio
think
was
he
in a
was.
weakened state in part 3, so Jonathan might actually be faster than like post Hamon stand users. Like,
Yeah, and I think an interesting thing to like go over this is new stuff for part 1 is that like even part 1 like actually does have like faster and light speed feats with like Hamon specific like state to state like have the same like waves as like the same wavelength that the sun, right? Like it's like sunlight, like the same waves, right? Of course the waves of sunlight is like light speed essentially. They confirm that like in the manga guidebook. That's how fast Haman like kind of moves, like light speed, and like Dio's able to chop his head off before Haman could reach his body. Like there's like 2 faster light feats and like 1 relativistic, I think, feat from Bruford, like the dodging Haman or something. But I don't know. I think it's kind of neat stuff.
But yeah,
So Jonathan is much faster. Simon is much stronger and has a more variety.
You mean
of
Leon?
weapons. But sorry, what did I call him?
you used to call him Simon.
Simon, my bad. But Jonathan is able to get through whatever enhanced durability he may have using Hamon.
Yeah.
Well,
maybe. It's possible
we're not 100% sure.
he has a
on-
resistance to it because Castlevania is a video game with a lot of resistances to just a lot of things.
That's fair.
So, like,
I could probably have that.
if we're comparing Hamon to like direct sunlight, and I'm not too familiar with the N64 game, but if Leon has like certain equipment that makes him resistant to like radiant light damage, then that could be a plus for his side of like being able.
Hamon isn't like you're getting blasted by sunlight. It's like a current is going through your body to like interact with your organs in a way to control them.
I know,
like
I know.
it's
but,
energy, like in a sense. But
I know. I was just commenting off of like Jobber's thing about like how it's the same wavelength. So if we
I would say
compare
you need something closer
Yeah.
to like resistance to like biology manipulation or something.
yeah, like
Oh,
something
yeah, I
like
guess
that,
that's
like or basically the characters
Which
like
does
intent.
exist in Castlevania. I don't know if Leon has it, but I know some characters have it.
Wait,
Yeah.
really? That's a stat?
Yeah,
Yeah,
They're
Castlevania
resistant to
is
that,
like a surprisingly busted verse. Like nobody talks about how busted it is. Like
We should talk
Yeah.
about how busted it is.
We should talk about how busted
Exactly.
this next one
Exactly. This is why we need to do Simon Belmont versus the Bearer of the Curse from Dark Souls 2. I keep telling you this, guys.
Or Maria versus Princess Peach. That's also an option. Ooh, a fight.
Ooh, I like
Ooh, a fight.
Like-
Cool.
We're like goldfish or like cats. New thing comes up, we forget everything.
That is a nice matchup. I like it.
Yang versus Vi. I've never
Vi.
played League of Legends.
Have you watched
Good.
Arcane?
Nope.
Shame.
You should. It's a
I
good
should.
show.
My dad, who never watches anime or shit like that, has watched exactly two things and told me to watch it: Freerun and Arcane.
Those your dad's got good taste.
Yes.
Wow.
Yeah, you
Very
should
good
trust.
taste from Papa Plime.
Papa
Yeah.
Plime.
I
So
think this is
Yang.
really cool.
It's Mr. Plime.
I think you can have a really cool fight with this because both of their fighting styles are inspired a lot by boxing. So I think that's just like a cool fight dynamic. If stats are similar, you could kind of compare like how they fight and be like, ooh, which of these like fighting styles is better? I think that'd be cool.
Oh yeah, it could be like a great kind of like analog to like what's it called? The TJ combo versus
Balrog.
Balrog? Yeah, Balrog. That's
I guess
his name.
kinda, yeah.
Yeah.
Mhm.
It's like the
but I
fighting
also-
styles are similar enough that I think you could compare them and be like, all right, which one of these is actually better? Unlike other fighting styles where it's like karate versus like kickboxing, it's like, well, you know, what are we supposed to do with that? But these fighting
Yeah.
styles are similar enough that if we wanted to, we really could get into the nitty gritty and figure out who's actually the more skilled fighter.
Yeah, and I also this one also has some pretty strong thematics of them being like older sisters who are very like to look over their younger sisters. I know Vi and Jinx kind of have like a bit of well, actually they both kind of have like a few conflicts with their sisters at one point in their stories. So, you know, that actually just makes it stronger. And there could be a really easy setup for this because, you know, Yang is like a huntress, which is kind of like a localized enforcer in someone, especially like during her time in Atlas. So easy setup could be like, oh, Yang was hired to take in Jinx, and by being protective older sister is like, nah, and then easy fight start.
I think
Yeah.
it's probably better than Bakugo.
Oh,
But
by
I-
far.
By
This is
far.
like-
That's
This is
not
my
saying
preferred
a
for both
lot.
characters.
I think it looks more interesting. I like the sister dynamic on it. How does Vi fight? Other than the boxing, like,
She
what
punches.
can she do?
She punches the best.
Is that
I mean,
it?
pretty much punching.
She has like
Her-
these massive like hulking gauntlets though, and they weigh like 5 tons. So like it would definitely be interesting and also kind of funny if like in the fight Vi is like asking Yang how are her gauntlets holding up to Vi's, considering how different in size they are. I think that'd be funny. But like,
Have you-
yeah.
Have them punch each other, the gauntlets hit it, and they're like tied in strength, and all of a sudden you see Yang's gauntlet shoot back and fucking knock the gauntlet out of the air. Don't know how strong Ruby characters go. I just know that they can be pretty
They're like-
powerful.
Yeah, they
Like
can get
700
pretty good
tons
scaling.
of TNT.
Yeah, they're like in the kilotons to maybe low megatons.
I just know that Ruby's not as near as strong as Maka. That's my only
Yeah.
that's my only gauge of how strong Ruby characters are right now.
I think this
Um,
matchup is an interesting example of a phenomenon I've been noticing with some matchups, where in modern times when people like us make matchups, we usually try to focus on making matchups with like, you know, good thematics or good connections between the characters. But I think this is a good example to kind of ask the question like, what is the point of thematics and connections sometimes? Because this is a great fight where once you get into the fight, none of those thematics or connections play any part in the fight whatsoever. Like, to compare it to Bakugo versus Yang, for example, a matchup I don't particularly like, but what I cannot take away from it, it does have a more interesting fight dynamic of two people using, like, explosions to boost their mobility as melee fighters, which is a lot more, like, aesthetically obvious than Yang versus V. Stronger connections and thematics, but the fight is much simpler. It is just like a fight, a boxing match.
So this is purely connections. How if they matter in terms of going into the fight is what you're talking about.
I'm just like raising the question. Like sometimes, like, do themes and connections matter? I'm just
Okay.
something. To
That's a
think
great.
about.
That's a great question because I'm gonna lead it into something I've been fighting this community on. Is that connections should not be your primary focus when thinking about fun matchups. Meaning, not saying that they don't matter. That's not what I'm saying. What I'm saying is that if you were to hand me, there's a reason in my cast ranking videos I get I keep to the very brief connections just to get the overall vibe of it. And I've had some people on Discord be like, well, actually, you missed these certain connections. And it's because personally, I don't care. If you give me a paragraph of things on why this matchup is good, I'm going to stop reading it after the second sentence. Like, I'm like, okay, get it. Like, I don't think all this shit matters. I think there's a lot of aspects you could look at too. Connections is one part of those aspects, right? So if this has good connections, but can also be a fun fight, and this one is down here in terms of fun fight, but it has a shit ton of connections, I think I'm gonna pick this one over this one. You know what I mean?
Bro, that's what I'm saying. I've been saying this for years.
Debate as well. Like if there's just a matchup that's like a fucking phenomenal debate that can go either way, but it doesn't have good connections, does that mean it's not worth doing because the connections aren't deep? Like,
I mean,
then
really,
it's a question of
it's really a case by case basis because, like, I think if the connections are great, that it could be entertaining just to see them interact with each other, even if the matchup is of stomp. But you know, the inverse could also be good. If the debate's really good, but the connections aren't strong, then the debate's enough to make it well. It all depends on, like, does the matchup have something it does really well that justifies its existence?
Yeah.
I think thematics and connections are a lot more, give a lot more points to a matchup if they actually would come up in the fight to some degree.
A lot of times
Whereas this is an example of, like, they have great thematics and connections, and they do have a fun fight, but those are, like, completely separate points. Like, the connections and thematics do not add to the fight, unlike some other matchups where, like, you could have very much interesting interactions based on the thematics and connections.
So the reason, here's how I think of that, right? What is a death battle? Is it the fight itself, or is it the whole process? Analysis, fight, conclusion. Because if those connections exist, and you can really get those in on analysis, they don't necessarily need to link exactly to the fight. They can just they work really together here, they paint a picture of why these characters are connected, and in the fight you can focus on the more interesting aspects of the characters themselves, how they fight, whatever. And then the conclusion is just all stats, so it doesn't matter.
Yeah.
The way I think about it is an analysis, like, before the fight is meant to give context to the fight that makes it cooler. Because if you know who a character is, you're gonna, like, rooting for him more in the fight. So I think, like, the analyses could... Theoretically, you could give the same analyses for a character even if the matchup is different. But I think you would tailor the analysis to what would serve the fight and conclusion you're about to see the most.
Mm-hmm.
I just like trait of abilities. That's why there's a section there in my reviews.
Also that, yes.
Yeah.
I think
it really
this
just
one's...
depends on what you enjoy out of a matchup.
Yeah, that's true. A lot of people didn't want... who was it? There was some famous death battle YouTuber who didn't want, like, Omni-Man versus Homelander.
Let's not call out YouTubers. Let's just...
Well, because the point is, like, he was like, I really don't want it. I don't like the idea behind it. Then the episode came out. He's like, this is fucking fantastic. Right? Like, even general ideas, like, their thematics and stuff isn't very great, but they had an idea, they ran with it, and it came out good.
I think Death Battle can make a good episode out of a bad matchup. But we can still say it's like a bad matchup.
Yeah, like the next time, Buffy versus Blade.
That's
I'm so convinced that's Buffy Blade. After some revelation, I'm just like, In any case.
Oh, this is one of mine.
Yeah.
I like.
By the way,
Hunter
say
versus
Yang
Zuko.
versus Vi, probably favorite for both. Don't want to move on past that. I'm a fan of Yang versus.
If we were to do a Ruby matchup, it's probably the most likely Ruby matchup.
Yeah, I also like Yang versus Leone, but that's less because I like it as a matchup, more because I like Leone as a character. Anyway, continue on.
Hunter versus Zuko.
I know nothing of Hunter.
I love Hunter. Hunter is a character that I think might be my favorite character from Owl House. They were very personal to me. Helped make some decisions in my life, which was very helpful to me. I love Hunter a lot. I think Hunter versus Zuko is a very good matchup. I could talk about why I love Hunter some more, but this is the theme of this cast is returning matchups. So I really want to focus on why this is a good Zuko matchup. I think Zuko is a character that really benefits from just showing off the potential of firebending. Because Zuko fights against characters that use a lot of different elements, like, you know, water, earth, air, lightning, all that. And he has, like, figured out methods to, like, fight them. And he has, like, very good choreography and counters. Hunter is a great opponent for Zuko in that regard because his arsenal just plays very well off of a bender like Zuko. Hunter is primarily, he fights with a staff and kind of flies around and kind of warps and teleports to, like, fight with a very fast-paced, agile fighting style. That's kind of how Aang fought in Season 1 when Zuko got really used to fighting him, and they had some really close fights as the series progressed. So Zuko does have that's a good fight dynamic right there. Hunter can use magic to make Earth Fist come from the ground. Zuko has fought a lot of Earthbenders. Hunter can shoot electricity. Zuko can redirect electricity. I think there's a lot of... Hunter can control water, and Zuko has fought people who control water. I think this is a matchup that can really show off what a Zuko can do. I didn't even touch on it. Hunter fights with a staff. You can have Zuko use his dual swords to fend off for the melee confrontation. I think you can do a lot with this fight that's really, really cool dynamically.
What are your thoughts really cool on Zuko Todoroki when it came out? Was it like, oh, that's cool, or like, oh, that's not really what I want from a Zuko matchup?
I wasn't big on it.
I always thought it would be fun, and you can agree or disagree or whatever. I always thought that it would be fun if you're gonna have Zuko to include the blue form, the blue, what is it called, the blue devil, blue Oni, or something like that.
It's blue spirit.
Blue spirit.
Yeah, blue spirit. Yeah.
To have it start with the blue spirit form, at least for Todoroki. Like, oh, I've heard a lot about this blue spirit guy. I found him, and then you can have some swordplay mixed in with the firebending. Does he carry those swords usually, or is it just kind of in blue spirit?
Yeah, he carries them around. I think like when he goes, like, I don't think when he like is like working with the Fire Nation he has them on him, but like throughout the series he does have the dual swords a lot, especially when he's by himself and Zuko alone. He has the swords with him a lot, so you can definitely just say they're standard.
Oh, okay. I would love for, like, both of these guys to, like, start off with their masks on, and then, you know, have them, like, get broken off during the fight as they just kind of tap more into their more versed arsenals. Like, I honestly believe, like, when it came to, like, Zuko versus Todoroki, I'm like, alright, this is alright, but it didn't really feel like Zuko's strongest one, but here I could see this matchup giving me everything I wanted out of a Zuko fight.
I will say, I am glad they did Zuko versus Todoroki when they did, because that matchup just doesn't work anymore.
Oh, yeah.
Todoroki is now just immune to fire, which kind of hurts Zuko a little bit.
Yeah.
Just a tad.
I will say, I don't know anything about My Hero, really. Some people might judge me on that based on the fact that I did, like, the review on Deku, Deku Spider-Man, and I got the fact wrong about the whole working in a burger shop thing, which I was told by Burger Beep later. Apparently that's fake.
That doesn't... No, he didn't end up at a burger place. That was a meme.
He becomes a high school teacher.
Yeah, I fucked up.
That's worse than working in McDonald's.
Back to this.
No, I worked in a Chick-fil-A.
Oof. Back to this. Hunter, how does he fight?
So Hunter has a magic staff that he uses. His primarily fighting style is to hit people with the staff, and he supplements this kind of close range staff fighting style with the ability to kind of zip around and teleport. I think he uses both, so it's like he has access to both those spells where he can kind of do a short range teleport, kind of like the Goku instant transmission. but he also can just kind of like dash, kind of like Tracer's like dash ability. So he's just a very agile staff fighter primarily, that he then supplements with magic such as electricity, earth fists, water fists, that kind of thing.
So he's got all kinds of elements.
Yeah, he has access to all the elements.
Okay. This character's starting to sound very familiar. Did you talk about him on the Fan Battlecast?
I did talk about him like 30 seconds ago, where I answered all your questions. We also did Hunter versus Veggie.
Okay, that's why I asked you if you did it as a Fan Battlecast.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Who do you think wins?
I think that Zuko wins.
Ooh.
Really?
Yeah.
Isn't Owl House crazy?
Owl House has,
Owl House has
in
some
my
good
opinion, what I
feats,
would call
but,
overinflated stats. I think if we were to like really take a fine-toothed comb and really go through all this, we'd find that they are not as fast and strong as some people say they are.
And this
Well,
is
like,
why
doesn't-
Sherm thinks on the beats lose.
Like,
I think that matchup's more debatable because Luce actually does get the high-end stats, but
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
This is a case of like peaks being way above average from like the normal cast.
I think they're both like relative in stats to a certain degree. I think both are vaguely lightning speed. I think arguably Avatar has better arguments for relativistic speeds than Owl House does, with some recent stuff I found out about. But I think like most likely both are around lightning speed. I think Zuko's lightning feat is a little bit better than the feat Hunter scales to. And I think in terms of AP, it might favor Hunter slightly, but I think they're both in the same tier.
Is Zuko probably a more skilled fighter?
Wait, no. Zuko's way stronger. I forgot. Never mind. No.
Hmm.
I think Zuko is stronger, but he is less durable because of how bending works.
Yeah.
Okay.
Actually, on the question of skill, I am not 100% sure who's more. Actually, I'm trying to think who is more skilled because, like, both are kind of weird since, like, Hunter is what's known as a Grimwalker, so he's basically just like this one guy who's been revived constantly over and over and over again in a new body in order to like serve as the Golden Guard. But like I don't know if skill transfers over from one generation to the next. Like I think he might have to be retrained, but like
I think
so,
in
like,
general, Hunter is extremely skilled and experienced because he just kind of went through like boot camp training for like 3 or 4 years basically.
Mm-hmm.
But I do think if just pure technical skill, I would give the edge to Zuko because he's had multiple masters that we've seen how skilled they are, whereas Hunter's training is more non-specific and we don't really have as many things to point to say like, look how skilled this guy who taught him is.
Yeah, I guess. But yeah, this matchup seems really cool. You can definitely go a lot into kind of like how they were betrayed and left the people who left the kingdoms that did manipulate them into trying to be bad, and they joining up with the good guys. I think that's really cool.
Both
thematic.
rose up against their fathers, fighting against the culture they were basically indoctrinated into, to do the right thing with the help of the friends they made along the way. This match is very special to me personally. I think it's really good.
Yeah, I'm down for this, honestly. Like, I would research Zuko in a heartbeat because I love Avatar.
As long as
I have a
Zuko
very
wins.
specific vision of this fight. I think like if we do this, I can cook.
Yeah, I'll let you cook, dude.
yeah,
You
that's
seem
a
like
good
really
matchup.
interested.
Good matchup.
Yeah.
Speaking of cooking, these guys can copy your chef techniques and do them flawlessly. This is Deathstroke versus Taskmaster.
Today we are sponsored by Blue Apron.
I was gonna say the blue.
If
apron,
you crush up a bunch of your blue chew and put it in your blue apron, you have twice the
Dang.
fun.
and then get some better help.
Better.
And don't forget our other sponsor, League Shadow Legend.
He's gone.
Did you?
Does that still
Whatever.
What's
exist?
the next matchup?
Can you guys not see it?
Deathstroke versus Taskmaster.
I was making a joke that's all we would say about this matchup, then move on.
Oh my gosh.
This matchup's good.
Yeah, it's
Yeah.
really fun.
I'm really rooting for Taskmaster. I'm really rooting for him.
So, from my
Have some
understanding,
bad news, buddy.
from my understanding, because I'm not as well versed in comics, I dabble in comics, but not as much as probably you guys. They are both super soldier type things that can copy and predict people to a T. So, like, if somebody does, like, a skill or something, like, Taskmaster or Deathstroke can just copy it immediately, and then he can adapt to their fighting style, like, immediately as well, is from what I understand.
Well, Deathstroke, like, he's more just so, like, he's just really skilled. He doesn't, like, necessarily, like, copy, like, anybody. He's just really fucking skilled, right? Like, so skilled that he's basically, in terms of assassins, like, in DC, he's, like, the top tier. They call this motherfucker the Terminator, like, unironically, right? But, like, for Taskmaster, he's on a similar deal, but he specializes in, like, copying, like, anything, like, he would see from anybody, like Bullseye, doesn't matter. He can copy their skill and like do it like equally or just better than them, right? And there's only like a few people who couldn't copy, like Deadpool or like Moon Knight, right?
No, it's specifically not that he can't copy them; it's that he refuses to because for Deadpool, he literally just cannot predict what he's going to do next, so it's basically useless for him to copy. And for Moon Knight, he's just fucking terrified of that guy, so he doesn't want to even mess with him. Like,
well, yeah, like, cause like Moon Knight, with Moon Knight, right? Like Moon Knight doesn't whenever Moon Knight fights, his fighting style is basically it disregards. Moon Knight's fighting style disregards his entire body. Like it doesn't like Moon Knight will do literally anything in a fight. Like that will rip up his body just to get to you, right? Like Taskmaster just calls like Moon Knight like he's basically a human bullet. Like
Moon Knight
that's
kind
what
of
he
fights
is.
like guts to the point where they will like injure themselves to horrible degrees to win the fight, and Taskmaster's like, you know, I think I'm good. I'm okay.
Yeah,
Yeah.
like literally the first time Taskmaster fought Moon Knight, it was he like thought he killed him and then went to go talk to like the guys who hired him. And then Moon Knight took his plane, crashed it into where that was happening, and then pulled up to where Taskmaster was sitting, damn near dead from getting hit by a plane, and was like, "Don't mess with me," and then just walked away. Like,
Yep.
Starting to
Moon
sound like
Knight
we need
will
an
put
ass.
the fear of Khonshu into anyone.
Yeah, it's actually hilarious because like in that panel, you know, Taskmaster just says like to the boss catchers like, "You listen, like I'm fine with like going up against Spider-Man, like Cyclops, bro. Put me up against Captain America, I'll do it. But Moon Knight, hell fucking no, bro. You're insane. Like I'm not doing that shit again." Taskmaster's a funny dude.
Yeah, I really like Taskmaster. Actually, there's an expansion on that story where, like, one time, I think a vampire tried to hire him in order to take out Moon Knight, and the guy was like, hell no. So then he immediately left, went to Moon Knight, and was like, hey, this guy put a hit out on your head. I'm not taking it because, like, I'm terrified of you, like, straight up. But, like, be on the lookout because somebody might be coming after you. Anyways, I'm gonna leave now. Please do not hurt me. I know you know where I live.
I don't know if that's exactly how it went down.
Okay, but he was like saying, "For the love of God, please do not come after me. I'm so scared."
Okay, I just want to take it because you're kind of presenting it as like Taskmaster being a pansy. Taskmaster's just practical because Moon Knight's an asshole. Like, let's just set the record straight. He's being like Moon Knight, like, listen, I know you're a dick about this, and I know that we fought a lot. Just, it's not me, all right? Let me go home and eat my chips and take a shower in peace, all right? Don't be coming after me for no reason.
Yeah, I know.
He's not just like, please, Moon Knight Senpai, please don't hurt me. He's just being, like, reasonable. He's a reasonable man in the Marvel comic world, which is his greatest superpower.
Yeah.
Yeah, he's like, he just does what he wants. He's just a chill dude, except when he's trying to kill you. But outside that, he's just a chill dude.
Yep.
I think a good way to explain the appeal of this fight, because we kind of glossed over that, is that these are basically the top assassins of their world. They're like, as far as street tier goes, they're like maybe in like the top 5. specifically because they're like trained in every fighting style, gun kata, sword kata. They got all sorts of weaponry from like other heroes. Like they got really big bags of they got a good bag of tricks, a lot of gadgets, gizmos. I think Moon Knight has like or not Moon Knight, Taskmaster has like an Ant-Man helmet that can like help him like control ants to one thing. He has like Asgardian swords and shields and other stuff, and Deathstroke similarly has like Promethean seal and stuff, and they just kind of like take stuff from other heroes when it suits them. So like they are just the top assassins with very similar bags of tricks from their various Marvel and DC rivals and targets.
Taskmaster's got a web swing, right? I've played Marvel 3.
Yeah, he can kind of web swing. It's like a grappling hook, but like he copied how Spider-Man swings webs. Anyways, I have a call. I'll be back in like 5 seconds. Okay.
Okay.
All right.
We can move on from this one. I think it's cool.
Yeah.
That's cool.
I feel bad that this next one is his.
Oh
Let's go to the
no.
next one, we can go back
We'll come back to
Yeah.
it.
Oh.
So I would
Why
originally
is Doppelganger Arle so far away?
I don't know. This is the thumbnail I found that wasn't in absolute dog shit quality. This one I originally wasn't going to add because I didn't know who Doppelganger was, but Chirp knows who Doppelganger is now, I guess.
Yeah,
so
I've done some research to comment on this one.
explain. Hi, Burger Wape.
So, Doppelganger Arle is a character from the Puyo Puyo games. So let me set the stage. There is Arle, and there is Arle exists in the universe, and then Arle has a fight with a character that is so intense that the universe is erased. Then there's only one character remaining standing, Satan. Satan basically takes on like the Galactus role of being from the previous universe, and so they recreate the current universe of Puyo Puyo. They recreate every person, they recreate all the world and all that. Also, Satan's the main antagonist of this fight, so like they're like a weird combination of Galactus and Eggman, if in the Metal Sonic context. So anyway, he recreates the world, and we're like, oh, okay, everything's all good now. Not so. The original Arle actually wasn't fully dead, merely shattered to some degree, and eventually they come back. They mind control Satan, and this is actually very similar to the Sonic Hero story because Metal Sonic kind of takes over as the main bad guy as like a secret when you think it's actually Eggman. Arle does a similar thing because Satan is the bad guy in other games, but this time like Arle was controlling Satan, and unlike Metal Sonic, who is objectively wrong about the fact that he is the real Sonic, Arle has a much more reasonable reason to believe that they are the real Arle, because they actually were the first one. Satan recreated the universe and recreated a different Arle because he thought Arle was fully dead. So yeah, they fight, and that's the main conflict. Like in Arle's game, they have a very similar role as Metal Sonic, where they want to be the real Arle by taking out the fake Arle.
I will always remember the scene where Metal Sonic finds out he's not Sonic, and it's the saddest thing I think I've ever seen.
And the metal virus.
Yeah, when he dips his hand in and nothing happens. I'm just like, why is this so... Like, it cuts to the shot of him just like... I'm like, what the fuck is this? How does Arle fight? I think everyone knows Metal Sonic. He's Sonic.
Wait, so like, or this lady from like... Wait, isn't Puyo Puyo like a Tetris game or something?
Yes.
Mm-hmm.
What? Wait, what? Wait.
Puyo
What?
Puyo has a very extensive lore to it and very powerful characters. In fact, Meta Knight's my favorite opponent for Meta Knight is a Puyo character.
Luigi.
Wait, but what what Sherm just described was like a whole like crazy narrative stuff. I thought it was like maybe a manga, like anime. This come from a Tetris game?
Yes.
What the
Well,
hell?
I'd say Dr. Mario is probably the more accurate comparison, but yeah, basically.
Have you ever played Dr. Robotnik's Mean Bean Machine?
That's another connection. There
That's-
we
I
go.
unfortunately
yeah.
have not, but What?
It's the best Sonic game. Let's tell you that.
All right.
In terms of attacks, Doppelganger Arle has basically all the same things as regular Arle, which is basically like spells for every element that you could possibly think of, like air spells, fire spells, lightning spells, wind spells, earth spells, ice spells, all the spells. And they all seem to be elementally attuned, except for a handful, which seem to be like their most powerful spells that like have no attribution but are the strongest spells. And in game, it seems like these spells basically just like delay your ability to place the puzzle blocks, but in lore they are just like magical blasts of like fire and ice and all that.
So
and
magic.
Also, I wasn't able to find the explanation for how this exactly works, but Arle, Doppelganger Arle challenges real Arle or new Arle or the second Arle to a game of Puyo Puyo, in which case the loser will be erased from existence.
Okay, so I
could
just
not
come
find
back
an
from a call with
explanation
my
of how this
dad,
ability
and
works.
like,
But apparently Doppelganger Arle is able to set up a scenario where the loser of a fight will be erased from existence.
what the fuck?
So that's
Okay.
interesting.
So it's like a shadow game. She just sets up a fucking Tetris shadow game. What is
Yes.
this? What is going on? Like, what?
Okay, I really want to see this one happen now. Like, I'm sold.
I think
I kinda like
this
it.
Puyo Puyo matchup specifically, but definitely Puyo Puyo would be something to look into.
I would just feel bad for something that looks like that to die. Something that,
Sonic is very nice and shiny. I wouldn't want him to die.
yeah. They should just hold hands and skip down the street. Let's be real.
The true
Right.
ending of this fight
Wait,
is
you
they kiss.
skipped one.
Oh yeah, you're right. Da.
Oh, hey, thank you. This is my submission.
Frank West
Me and John race
versus.
this match. You're gonna have to be very convincing.
Exactly. You had to.
Oh no. Okay. All right. So this matchup is really fucking cool. It's two normal ass guys who got caught up in a zombie apocalypse, and now they just use anything they can get their hands on in order to cut down any Zeds in their way. It's super cool. You could have a ton of really fun. You could have a really cool banter where it's like both of them are gassing themselves up because like Ash is kind of like later Ash, he kind of talks like the kind of like a parody of like what people think of an action movie hero is. And Frank, he's like really egotistical as well. So you can have them gassing themselves up as like the greatest thing. You could have them basically just use anything they can get their hands on in order to fight. I also really like the idea of the fight starting in an S-Mart, and because so it would start in S-Mart. Frank is stealing from it because like a zombie apocalypse is going on, and Ash is still just working there and is like, hey man, you can't steal this. Frank's just like, who's gonna stop me? And then the fight just goes from there. It would be really cool. And you can and having a scene where like Deadites and zombies, where they fight both like Deadites and zombies, similar to Frank versus Leon, would be super cool. Also having Frank react to like how different Deadites are in comparison to normal zombies, like how insane they are, is super funny. And like the ending of the fight could be like Frank and Ash kind of like transforming into zombies, or like Frank would be in his zombie form, Ash would be in his Deadite form, and you can kind of just have like them both go at each other until eventually only one dead man is left standing. I think this matchup's really fucking fun. You could do so much creative shit throughout all of it. And
Frank has a zombie form?
Yeah, Frank
Yeah.
has a zombie form. Yeah, the ending of Dead Rising 4 is basically Frank becomes a zombie. And then there's an extra like DLC mode where you follow Frank in his zombie form as you gotta try and make it to a helicopter in order to escape. and he gets like a bunch of new zombie powers because of it.
For context, in Dead Rising 4, they had created like intelligent zombie super soldiers. So this was a Frank that still had all of his intelligence and could basically like do super jumps and had like claw hands. He's not like a shambling slow zombie.
Dario, there was a pitch for this, I believe. There was.
I wonder if one of us was there for it.
Or
Yeah.
some like lame-o, whatever. I think he is a contender for one of my all-time favorite games. It's so good. I love Frank West. I think if there's... Speaking on why I think this would be a good returning matchup, I think Leon versus Frank had a lot of good things, but I think they made fun of Dead Rising a little bit in a way that I didn't appreciate, because it kind of made the whole series seem like goofy and unserious. When I unironically love the story and characters of the first Dead Rising as well as the 2 and 3. And I think I would really want to sell a matchup where Frank can be like characterized well.
Yeah,
Yeah,
I think,
like
Mhm.
well, basically, in how they were characterizing Frank in like Ash versus like Frank versus Leon, I think it was kind of like a little. It might have been, from what I remember, it was a little too much like Dead Rising 4. So I'd like it to stay closer to something like Dead Rising 2 off the record and how he acts.
Yeah.
I think that would be peak characterization for Frank, and he would bounce so well off of Ash.
I think people
Yeah.
forget about the fact that the villains in Dead Rising are like probably the goofiest parts, and that's because these guys have gone literally fucking mad, right? Like everything around them, they broke. But there's like, look at Dead Rising 2, the original with Chuck Green, right? Like that whole story is not a comedy. Like he's trying to save his daughter and doing crazy shit in order to get like these little things to give her to stop her from fucking dying permanently. So it's
I
like
think
that's not very funny.
It is a fundamentally goofy franchise, but it's not exclusively a goofy franchise. It has a lot of heart to it. I feel like people undersell that like Frank himself is a character that like wants to do the right thing. Like he does investigative journalism because he cares about the truth. He is always trying to help people and save people whenever he can, and he does like act serious in most of his cutscenes. Frank West is usually the straight man and whatever he's in, and he's just like good at like kind of cracking jokes occasionally. But whenever he's like interacting with like Carlito, for example, the terrorist from the first game, he's like very strict with him and like straight to business. And I think he's just, it's the weapons and the combat style is what's goofy and makes it seem a little silly.
Yeah, I think like the best way to describe it is like the story takes itself as seriously as possible, but the gameplay does not take itself seriously. I think that's the best way to describe it.
The humor will come from the fact that Frank is having this really intense conversation about Brad, about like making whatever deal they want to make. But he's wearing like a fuck ass Mega Man helmet the whole time, so it's just like the goofiest
He's wearing
thing is having such a goofy conversation or such a serious conversation interposed with Frank like saying all these like, tell me the truth. Do I look like a man to be trifled with as he's got this like Mega Man helmet on?
Yeah,
he's
like,
wearing a thong, a cowboy hat with shades on. Like you think I'm one to fuck with.
Yeah, like I think with like Frank, right, as a character, I talked to a lot of the guys about this because like really love this matchup, and Frank's characterization, like I like him to play, I guess, more of a straight man to like Ash's like I guess like just shenanigans or whatever, right? Where there could be a point where like, for example, like for some reason like Frank all of a sudden has like a surfball helmet on, and he's like being super serious with like Ash, like it's like he's telling Ash, can you take this seriously? As like Frank says this while wearing a fucking surfball helmet, and like Ash is like,
no,
he's
I
like,
thought
what?
how you could do this. Have Frank be like launched into a toy store. He like gets covered by a bunch of stuff. He pops up and like take this seriously while he has like the Lego Mega Man, like the
like
Mega
the
Man
Surfbot.
the Surfbot helmet on. Like take this seriously, and then he takes it off and then like pumps it at Ash. I think that was-
Yeah, like there's always for that, you know.
Speaking of Ash, we've talked a lot about Frank. Ash, he's got his chainsaw arm. He's got a boomstick.
He's got his boomstick.
Yeah. What else does he do?
One of the main things he has is something called the Necronomicon, the Book of the Dead, which allows him to cast mystical spells on people. Like, the Necronomicon is how Deadites came to be, and creating Deadites is just one of the spells it has. It's got like tons and tons and tons of other spells that Ash can pull out. Like, I think one of them can allow him to like create an entire storm over like the area he's in. It could like time travel. It can do a lot of stuff. Like, so
Motherfucker can
like,
time travel?
Yeah, the plot of the third movie is that Ash gets sent back to medieval times, and then he becomes a great hero of like of like Camelot or something.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's awesome.
But yeah, keep in
my
mind,
favorite fight scenes in all of cinema where they're at the castle and the skeleton army is approaching, and Ash has to rally all the knights to like defend it. And we see Ash with like 2 swords in his hand fighting up and down stairs against skeleton warriors. And then like they bust out his car and they've like souped it up with like a bunch of like spikes and razor wire, and he's just like running through all the skeletons in medieval times. It's great. I would want this fight to time travel, because then we could also have both Frank and Ash picking up all this medieval weaponry that they both use that wouldn't be in an S-Mart, for example. And it'd be really cool to just see them like sword fighting in a genuine castle.
Yeah, and I think
that
like,
would be fun if like Ash just genuinely took the swords and like started fighting with them. But like Frank, he would take like the swords and shields and whatnot and like merge them together with a bunch of different stuff in order to create a brand new like sword and shield set. So then, because like I think that's a really cool way to kind of mix in the combo system.
Yeah, I think with like how we even get there, like, because we did bring up the book of like the Necronomicon. That's a powerful tool for Ash, but it's important. It's in character. Most of the time, when he tries to use that book, he just fucks it up. And like I can imagine,
Ash is like not good at using the Book of the Dead, so it would be fun to see him try to use spells and then it just does the exact opposite.
Here's what happens. Frank, he's showing up and he's like, all right, I'm here to do a sword in the Necronomicon. You got the Necronomicon? Give it here. I need it. And then Ash, maybe halfway through the fight, is like, all right, I gotta do a spell. And then Frank sees this, is like, oh, that's my moment. I need to take a picture for like incriminating evidence. He takes a picture and the flashbang distracts Ash as he's trying to like, and he like that causes him to mess up whatever he's saying.
Like, he's like, Kadru, no, come on, man, that was right. And then it just, and then it brings up a whole different spell, causing them to like fling them through time or something.
Yeah, and another idea, like for like how that happened, like for Ash messing up. Well, it could just be Ash just doing his regular stuff where he tries to read a spell to get rid of like Frank, and it just ends up causing this earthquake, which is like basically destroying everything. It's fucking them all up, and like Frank's like, bro, you don't even know what you're doing with that thing. Give me that! And he starts like trying to like fix, like he tries to read whatever's in the book to fix what the hell Ash is doing, because he's like, bro, this guy doesn't know what he's doing. He's gonna get us both killed. And that's what like happens, right? Like Frank reads the book and it teleports. He reads that spell. He doesn't know what it does, but it teleports back in time. But
I got the biggest smile on my face. I just love this matchup.
It's really good.
It's so much fun.
I think the last thing I do want to say about it
do I hear Halloween matchup?
Yeah.
Tune in soon.
Yeah, maybe. But the last thing I will say,
maybe I'll maybe.
It could be. But the last thing we'll say about like Ash versus Frank, that I just thought of that, when y'all kind of like brought up in a sense of like Frank, he's a journalist, he's a photojournalist that really does care about the truth, and maybe if we wanted to do a heartfelt like ending in a sense where, like let's say Frank loses against Ash, but throughout the fight, since Frank is in pursuit of like the truth behind the Deadites and like Ash, right? He starts to slowly realize the truth about Ash, like, oh, this guy, he wasn't really the bad guy. He's not like the ashy slashy people like say he is. Like, oh, and like you know what, like Frank's like, you know what, like if I go out, this guy's gonna take care of the whole zombie apocalypse thing. He's gonna get the whole zombie breaks, whatever thing. Like, they'll figure it out, right? But it'd be interesting to see Frank's perspective on Ash change throughout the fight as he realizes the truth about him. You know?
Yeah, this matchup's really fun. I really like it because there's like so much potential with it. Like you can pretty much just do whatever you want with it. It's so much fun. So much fun. Yeah.
Talking about this was great, but Jobber, you've been talking too much. We gotta talk about a matchup that you don't have much to say about. Okay.
Yeah, I don't have much to say about it. Like, I don't know what to get it.
I mean, it's all right.
Yeah, like, I mean, hey, like, if I get an excuse to talk about TF2, like, you know, Overwatch 2, like, come on, Overwatch and Team Fortress, like, both of these game series hold a pretty special place to my heart. Even though, like, Overwatch, when I play the game, it does piss me off because I'm playing against some esports players, bro. But I don't know. I always like I guess I would call it more so. It's an occasional rivalry, I guess, between them. I guess obviously not saying some Mario Sonic shit, but I like
I would describe this as a legacy matchup.
Yeah, legacy matchup, and also maybe occasional rivalry, right? Where, you know, both these characters were done pretty dirty, and let's say, like, you know, it's like their first appearance in Death Battle. Like, well, if they did it again, like, hey, you know, it'd be really cool. If we do it, it could be really cool. It has a lot of, like, there's a lot of fun to be had here, you know, with this type of match. I don't think you could really go wrong with it.
They just dead ass left out like half of Scout's more interesting kit. I thought that was kind of funny.
Yeah, like they just like left it all like out. I'm like, dang, he has like so much stuff he could have done. And you know, actually, Tracer has a lot more. Like she has a lot more things to like more abilities now. Actually, with Overwatch 2, like the updates that came out, she has more things to throw at Scout. You know, like it's a bigger back and forth between the two, right?
We were supposed to get a lot more, and then the game was like, actually, we didn't want to do that, so he's just a little
the whole reason we rebranded as the second game, we're not actually doing that, alright?
We were supposed to get a single-player campaign. Let's not let that get buried by history.
Yeah,
like, we love the character and lore of these series. Please give us some more. And then Blizzard was like, okay. We were like, hell yeah, here's like $1 million from all of our sales, and then they were like, actually, it's too much work or something. What?
Yeah, it was very strange.
You didn't have to give us a lot. You literally had to do the bare minimum, and you would have had like so much money.
Yeah.
All right.
Yeah,
Look,
I think
you can't expect this indie game studio in order to not only work on 2 live service games at once, but also create a campaign for this game in order to like write about the characters and such. Really.
And you're expecting them to do that?
Small, wheedle indie game studio.
And you expect them to do that without harassing their employees?
Also the writers, and thus they can only do one of them. Those are clearly not different jobs.
Okay, I think we're getting a little off track, guys.
Yeah, but I think
we're mad about Overwatch.
I want that to be known.
We were burned, but like with Tracer, I think one thing I really do like. It's an interesting thing about this matchup is like, well, when it comes to like how these two function as speedsters, it's interesting that like Tracer's speed isn't natural. Like she just uses time bullshit, right? Well, Scout's speed's all natural, and like one of the aspects about this matchup is like, if Tracer like runs out of blinks, right? Like she has to like wait for them to recharge or something like that, right? She's kind of just helpless, like because like Scout's just gonna run circles around her essentially. Like, there's nothing she could do. But with the blinks on, like it becomes a lot more like of I don't know. I guess I really just like the aspect of her speed's not natural, his speed's natural, and that could play a part into the fight, the aspect of it. Of course, you got a hero versus a mercenary, essentially.
I would like to say you are describing him as natural. I think after all the procedures medics put him through and all the chemicals he's drinking from Manco, I think we could say part of that might be a little artificially inspired, but he is mostly natural.
Yeah. And
right.
Look, he learned how to double jump without the help of medics, so like
yeah, he's like I don't know, really cool like matchup and characters. This matchup like it had like a lot of potential, like, and will that potential ever be fully realized? I don't know. Maybe one day. But
why are these two pitted against each other is my question.
So why are these two pitted against you? Oh my goodness, I have like a. Here, let me put this. Hold on.
I feel like
Yes,
your best guess is probably pretty close. Like I feel like this isn't like a weird matchup.
Yeah. So here, I got you. One sec.
Isn't it just because they have the same role within their games? Like,
No. Hold on. Jobber's gonna.
Jobber, if you hit me with a fucking list of connections, I'm gonna send you the clip of what I said earlier.
I swear. I'm not like.
We're sending you back to the editorial dungeon.
I just want the general idea. I don't need.
Their role on the team in their first-person team-based shooters are very similar. They are the glass cannons who try to like run around, avoid hits, and then like kill people with some high-damage weaponry, and then get out of there. That is like their general gameplay style.
So they're
And
running.
it's also just Overwatch and TF2 are very similar games. So these two were compared a lot when they came out, and they also just have loud personalities that are fun.
Yeah, and not to mention, I guess like the contrast aspect of like basically Tracer's a hero and Scout is the mercenary, you know. So it's I guess a hero versus technically a bad guy, if you want to call it that, I guess, like, or anti-hero or whatever. But and also I guess there's technically a red versus or blue versus red aesthetic if you just say, you know, Tracer's blinks being blue, big thing for character, while Scout's red Scout, you know, so stuff like
the
that.
best connection is they have an orange thing on their head. That's actually the most important connection.
Did you just find that in the list?
Yeah.
No, I was just looking at this thumbnail and I was like, orange goggles, orange headset. There we go.
I know, right? See, like
It
I'll
fits.
say this matchup is heavily carried by its legacy, but I think legacy is good for some matchups. Doesn't make it like objectively the best or anything, but I think the legacy is valid. Like the Overwatch versus TF2, I would call it like war, was like pretty heavy back in like 2016, 2017.
Was there a war? Didn't TF2 come out well before Overwatch?
Well, yeah, but it's still popular when it came out. It was called like the TF2 killer. Like it's that kind of thing.
So people were just wrong.
Yeah.
No, I'm kidding.
It's like Overwatch is very important to TF2 in the sense of like the connection they share. Like, you know, it was a whole thing, like a whole big rivalry between the two. Where like, Overwatch's gonna kill TF2. It sparked TF2's like, I guess, biggest and most infamous updates, and then Overwatch like, we're still kicking, and then like it like went slowly downhill, but like TF2 went the same downhill, but then like they both kind of start rising up. It's really weird, but yeah, I think that's kind of the general gist.
I forget that some people don't know about the rivalry. It was pretty huge. Like if you just look up TF2 versus Overwatch on YouTube, you're gonna find so much. You're gonna find entire series of rap battles. You're gonna find like Game Theory did like a comparison on the two. You're gonna find animations with like 50 million views. You're gonna find like a million comparisons between the gameplay styles. Like there is like the debates and the feuds over which game was better was like giant.
Yeah, it was really big, and of course the main like the two characters from both games that are at the forefront of this. Like, was Tracer in Overwatch. Dear God, there's so many videos and comparisons between the two, even gameplay aspects wise. And like, you know, Scout, like, okay, when we say who's the face of TF2 as a character, right? Who's the one merc you would choose, right? People would say Heavy, right? I mean, he's on the box cover, right? But like, Scout, he was kind of the made one to represent Team Fortress 2, like as a character. Like it really shown in the Overwatch versus TF2 era where like Scout was the main one like that people chose to rep TF2 against Overwatch. And Tracer, she's basically the face of Overwatch.
He was the mascot of the Overwatch League.
Exactly.
In peace.
Yeah. So I guess if that's, you know, I guess a good way of putting it, like these team-based shooter games or whatever, like this is basically the team-based shooter like Mario versus Sonic, right? In a way, I guess. But yeah, I don't know. I think.
Speaking of,
yeah. Ooh, what's the next one?
Oh wait,
What
do
do
you
we
know
got?
that? Do you know the next one? How did you know? Oh,
Hey!
yeah.
give us a list, sir.
I forgot I posted the list. Are
You
there any
gave us
Shanks
the
on
list.
it? Are there any Shang Tsung matchups? No.
For
Nobody
just saying.
By
submitted
the
any
way,
Shang
on the
Tsung.
list listed Mario and Luigi versus Mario and Sonic.
There's not-
Luigi or
Bro.
Here's my hot take, 'cause I have a lot of
Decide.
opinions
Yeah.
about this because I've had a lot of debates about this. I think this is a more interest for Death Battle, because this is kind of where I was having this conversation opposed to us. I think Death Battle should do this matchup. I think that I shouldn't say that because there's others I prefer for both, but I think this is better than just Mario versus Sonic. I think the duo matchup adds a very interesting layer to it that makes it a lot more fascinating.
It's a completely different
I
debate.
do like this better than Mario and Sonic, but kind of I don't know if this is a hot take or not, but I'm just gonna say it. I really don't like the idea of the same characters fighting each other 3 times in a row. Like,
I agree, which is why I say this is better than just the 1v1.
oh yeah, it's better, but I still don't want to see it. Like, I
mean-
don't know. Like, it was excessive when Goku versus Superman did it. It would be excessive if Mario and Sonic do it, even if we include the player 2s into it.
Not to
So-
say that he thinks it's gonna be it'll be bad, by the way, because I feel like we all had the same dread when Goku vs Superman 3 was announced, and then all had relief when it was really good.
Oh yeah, it was really good, but like, I don't know, like, it's more of a personal preference of I would not want to see it. If they did do it, it would probably be very good, and then I'd be eating my words, but like,
Goku
That-
versus
that's just my
Superman
take.
is a very specific case where that matchup was very personal to both Ben and Death Battle as a whole, to the degree that Mario and Sonic is not. Like, Superman versus Goku 2 is a very different episode and reception than Mario versus Sonic 2. Whether or not you like Mario versus Sonic 2, the team likes it a lot better than they like
original.
Goku versus Superman 2. As well as just the original Mario versus Sonic.
yeah.
I just wonder, like, with this duo matchup, like, what? I mean, maybe someone could clear that up for me, like, power scaling wise. But what is Tails gonna do?
Well, Tails scales to Tails scales to Sonic, and if you bring out the emeralds, then he would get like the super level shield that he got in Heroes.
Okay,
Yeah.
all right. That's the clarifying, because like I don't know too much. I know like Tails is like way less crazy than Sonic. So it's like I was like thinking if Luigi went after like Tails, like it was just like them again. Like would Luigi kind of like obliterate?
I'm also pretty sure Tails has a proper super form. I think they had one in Superstars. I could be
Okay.
wrong. I could be wrong
that.
about that.
They had, I don't know if it's like
think
a
he
super
had, like, a
form,
hyper
it's
form.
like a super mode or something that's like different.
I've never seen Tails like have a super form before. I've always heard
He
like
doesn't have like a
about it.
traditional super form, and like I think in the Genesis games he had like this weird pseudo super form where he got like a bunch of birds flying around him, it was really weird.
And it was used in Nazo Unleashed anyway.
Yeah.
like I wish like I knew more like about like Tails super form. Like maybe I can look some of it up, or like if there's like a canon video like a Tails super form. Or
I think if
something.
I was to do this matchup, instead of trying to like give Tails his weird pseudo canon form, I would just give him like the super shield he got in Heroes. I think
Yeah.
that's just how I would handle it, because that's just much more canon and much more like not weird.
So
also,
it's a sh-
he can just do the same things as Supersonic in that form.
Yeah.
Okay. Huh.
I think this dynamic is. Some people say it's just Mario versus Sonic on top of Luigi versus Tails. But there's a lot you can do that's very unique with this matchup, because both Sonic and Tails and Mario and Luigi have a lot of combo techniques that they can only do when together. So I think this would be like a really cool to compare, like which of them has the better teamwork, which of them has the better combo abilities. It's all very interesting to me. Like,
And,
Tails can like electrify Sonic's spin dash, which is really cool. Like Tails has like all his like mechs and equipment that Sonic can partially use. I think it's very interesting. Like Super Sonic objectively gets a buff when he's working with another person. So like Super Sonic and Tails working together are literally stronger than just the sums of their super forms. So it's like there's a lot of interesting nuance here.
let's get Donkey Kong and Knuckles in on this fight.
Let's go. Let's go.
And let's get a 3-on-3 run
If
back.
you were to give Mario, you'd probably just give him Peach, I would imagine.
I'm more referring to that Knuckles fought Donkey Kong. So
Yeah, I mean, if you
That's
do that, you're gonna make me not want this match even more.
Yoshi.
I don't know.
Yoshi.
There are only a
What are you gonna bring
handful
in
of
for
runbacks
Yoshi?
that
Cream
I
and
want,
cheese?
and this ain't
I would
it,
like
cheap.
consider this a separate matchup from just like a run back, even though there's technically 2 run backs in here. I would consider this like a separate matchup.
yeah.
Yeah, but like, I don't know. It just kind of feels like it's a 2-for-1 run back deal.
I'm trying to argue that that's not what this is. It's like literally like you would analyze stuff that you wouldn't be able to analyze if either of them would take a solo run back.
Yeah, I mean, you could do like the Mario and Luigi RPG combo attacks.
Yeah.
I don't know. It's still not my cup of tea.
Hey, and if everyone wants to see Sonic die again, there you go. Anyway.
This is one that I like raised an eyebrow to, but the more I
What?
think about it, the more I'm like, no, wait, this actually makes a lot of sense.
What?
I mean,
this
I
match was
get it,
fucking
but-
awesome.
Yeah, like I don't know, I was just confused by it at first, but then I think about it and I'm like, oh wait, no, this checks out.
Fucking Noah did this battle early on.
Oh, yeah, I remember that. Yeah. Yeah. I don't really have many thoughts on this one, surprisingly. I don't have much thoughts on it.
How many
Yeah.
people
get
here
it.
have seen Steven Universe? Let me ask.
I don't want to say too much, just because like, if we talk about this too much, it's gonna spoil. Like, I think a lot of people know the Invincible twist, but like, it would also spoil for Steven Universe. That's why I'm kind of like,
Oh, I didn't think of
Can't
that.
Yeah,
But Death
so
Battle
I'm
ever
dancing a
covered
little-
it.
yeah. I'm dancing a little bit around the connections, other than just this is a really cool matchup, and I'd love to do it at some point.
Spoilers for Steven Universe incoming. Skip to the next 5 minutes if you don't want to hear Steven Universe spoilers.
Okay, I guess we're doing this
Alright.
then.
I don't want to just have someone submit a match and be like, oh, we don't want to spoil it, so we're not going to talk about it, right? Like, that kind of sucks.
Yeah, that's fair.
Yeah.
So, the idea of these two fighting, even though Nolan is, like, more of a straightforward brawler in Rose Quartz, is more of, like, I'm going to conjure up items and fly around, and I have a lion and shit. It doesn't seem as comparable, but the connections are really what serves this. Is like two people who come from conquering, like, the spoiler is that Rose Quartz is Pink Diamond, by the way. Anyways, so two people come from species that their whole purpose is to, like, subjugate and conquer and all that kind of shit. And two people who initially followed this line of thinking and wanted bigger roles. Omni-Man got was in that whole, like, fucking species, I don't know what else to call it, species-wide war, where they were trying to find the strongest in their species, and Pink Diamond, of course, was one of the strongest diamonds, although she was kind of like, not that it really matters, but she wasn't, like, as strong as the other diamonds. But as they grew empathy and as they learned about these people and creatures more and more, they started to turn against their initial rulers, ultimately doing a coup against both sides. Omni-Man joining up with Mark and fighting the other Viltrumites, and Pink Diamond starting the whole, I guess Pink Diamond as Rose Quartz starting the whole fight against the gems and forming the crystal gems in the first place with Pearl, Garnet, and actually the other one wasn't there yet. So, like, the connections are super deep. If you haven't seen the fan battle on this, the fan battle covered this really fucking well. So just to see what a fight could look like, it's very fun in my eyes. Omni-Man's a punchy guy. She makes the constructs with pinkness, and they both have
Yeah,
really
the
good
better
recovery.
Yeah,
Who is
and
the
plain
better
bullshit.
parent?
Omni-Man.
I think.
I mean, it's
He
kind of
seems
hard to
there
tell
for
how
Mark.
good of a parent Rose Quartz is when she's never been alive to parent.
Yeah, it's not. Yeah, I don't think it's too fair of a question. She wasn't there, like literally. She couldn't be there. Like she had to sacrifice.
Yeah.
But Omni-Man did beat his son to near death. Like, let's not let that slide.
He
Yeah,
made up
like-
with him. He
I feel like that
apologized.
loses you a lot of points in the good
Like-
parent category.
Yeah, but
Yeah,
also
you know-
like if you die and don't do any parenting, and then you force it, and then basically just by you existing as the parent causes like entire galactic empires to try and go after your kid, I would argue you are the worst. You are a worse parent. They're
But
both,
she didn't
like,
know they
really-
were gonna come back. Like this is a non sequitur. Like I don't know. I don't get that argument, but I don't want this to devolve into like a ethics of parenting debate. This is let's just make them kill each other instead.
Now, alternatively,
Steven
you could
Universe is a good show.
Alternatively, you can complete the cycle and do Rose Quartz versus Garnet, wow, versus Bardock, and have the real
Rose Quartz
best,
versus Bardock.
Oh,
and have the
what?
Oh,
have the
Why
real
Garnet? Why
matchup.
not pick like Pearl?
That's the real one.
Anyways,
Run it back! Run it back!
No.
that's
I think
all we
we've heard
say.
enough. What's the next one?
All right, I think you said everything.
No. I've been waiting to talk about this one. You are giving me this, sir.
No,
Okay, so the connections are like the best for both. They were both created to be the ultimate creature of their respective verses, and they are genetic clones of, artificial beings, and they had a special connection to a small child that they also spent a lot of time with before that child ended up dying, thus driving both of them to become basically, oh, I hate humanity deserves to perish, before eventually realizing, oh wait, that's kind of bad, let's roll it back and let's not destroy all humanity. And this is like the greatest setup for a match that you could get for these two, and when Death Battle did it, not even 1 minute's worth of actual fighting happens in that fight. Like, they had the perfect matchup and they botched it. Justice for this matchup, please!
Actually, Shadow was made to cure AIDS, so you're wrong.
Well, actually, shut the hell up.
Okay, well, my counter to this is Master Chief versus Doomslayer.
Yeah, look at how great that one was. Whoa,
It was a
love
good
it.
episode, man.
I like the fight.
I think it's my least
But
favorite.
I'm not saying Master Chief versus Doomslayer was a bad run back. I'm just saying this matchup deserves a chance to be done right. Because, like, say what you will about, like, Chief Doom, I'm glad that happened, but the original episode was pretty fun, even if it was a little outdated animation-wise. This one wasn't even good when it released. At least the original.
Yeah.
I feel like sometimes a matchup being, an episode being bad doesn't necessarily warrant a run back, because there's a lot of bad matchups, and like, I don't know.
I think you're
I
coping
know,
because
but, like-
you want Shadow versus Vegeta, right?
I do like Shadow versus Vegeta a lot. That's one of my preferred, but I'm not gonna bring it up because that sounds mean to Zoro right now.
Also, I
These-
think most of us are in agreement that, like, if we would rather have one matchup that's a returner, or two, take one of those returners, put them against someone else, I think all of us, even if it was from a bad episode, would be like, okay, we don't need Deku Asta too. Let's put them against someone else. Like,
Yeah, I'm
For the
going
most
through
part.
like all the combatants to try to give them a matchup I like, and I think there's only like 7 episodes out of like the 200 that I'm like, I think a rematch would be better than any of the other options. And 7
I know.
sounds like a lot, but not when it's against 200.
but I do agree with
It's just-
Zoro that this episode was botched. It would be one thing if it, like, so you guys know this isn't my preferred for Mewtwo, but it is my preferred for Shadow because I think it's Shadow's best option out of his pull, right? And I think in that case where there's like, this is clearly like the matchup, I think in that case it kind of deserves a run back. because there's so much that you can do with it that just was completely ignored, or in their case, I guess there was like an animator that wanted out or something like that and just did it shitty on purpose, didn't even finish the backgrounds, take out the green screen or whatever. So in that case, I do think this is more warranted a run back than Shad Vegeta. But there's also, of course, it's going to vary person by person. What do you want to see out of a fight will determine what you want to see in a run back. I think Shadow Vegeta was done well for the time. But doing it now, you can add things like the spirit fission that didn't exist before, and that's kind of an interesting dynamic. But then you also have things with this that's interesting dynamic that we get from new Sonic games, like the Doom Powers or newer Pokemon games, right? So it is very interesting how both matchups have changed over time, but I do think this one is more warranted of a run back than the other one.
Yeah, and
I'm not going to say anything, because if I start talking about Shadow versus Vegeta, I'll never stop. And this is not the Shadow versus Vegeta segment.
You didn't submit it.
Yeah, I like it. I didn't submit it because I respect Zoro.
Thank you.
Fair.
And I respect the Shadow Vegeta fans. It's just the reason why I'm so passionate is that both of these characters were big cornerstones of me growing up. I'm still a huge Pokemon fan, and while I'm not as big of a Sonic fan, it was still a cornerstone of my childhood. I unironically like Shadow the Hedgehog game on GameCube when it came out. So, like, to see these two characters that I really love, that fit together so well, done so dirty, it makes me want, I just want to see better for these two. And that is all I will say. Otherwise, I will also be talking about this all day.
I'm just sitting here thinking that Shadow versus Vincent Valentine's the best for both, but like I'm not gonna say anything.
All right,
else.
yeah, you know what? Now I'm
just
skipping
said
it.
it.
No, I'm
All
skipping
right,
it.
Get out of here.
Oh, Venom!
Venom mentioned.
Hey,
What's
you
with
like
his
Venom?
tongue?
Venom! I got that Venom journey.
Normally his tongue looks like a tongue. Why does it look like a bunch of yarn right now?
I don't know.
That's weird.
I
don't like
can't unsee it. Wow.
I know logically his tongue would be made of the same material as the rest of his soup. I never wanted it visualized like that.
Yeah.
That is kind of
gosh.
gross, not gonna lie.
Okay, I'm gonna try to not stare at
Talking
it
about
as
a
we
tongue
talk
twister,
about it.
am I right?
So, this is Filia from Skullgirls. I've recently beat Skullgirls, so maybe that scared the fuck out of me.
Sorry, that was a good comment. I needed to rimshot it.
So I
This
recently
is the
beat
quality
Skullgirls.
content y'all come for.
So
Exactly.
Filia is joined by a parasite or whatever, I forget its name, and it helps her fight. It's voiced by Gaara from Naruto, from what I remember. Or maybe that was the other one. I think so. Or maybe that was the other parasite. There's a lot of parasites in that game. It was he either voiced that one or he voiced the one on
Leviathan.
Yeah. You can see I'm really good with names. I can't remember jack or shit. I don't know how the fuck they scale or even truly understand Skullgirls' overarching story. So I don't know how much I can comment on
they're
that.
like mountain level now because of the webcomic.
There's a
I didn't even know
there was a comic.
How
Yeah.
much Skullgirls content is there?
There used to be more.
There's a webcomic. They do have some, depending on like whether you consider certain endings canon or not. There are definitely some pretty impressive feats regarding certain characters. I don't think Filia is within those upper echelons. I like this very thematically, and having Venom go up against someone who doesn't have easy access to his like literal one weakness would be fun. And I like the whole parasite dynamic, although this is kind of a stomp for poor Filia.
I think Venom's in a weird spot right now for versus matchups because there's a lot of matchups that would use quote-unquote base Venom. I'm pretty sure under the assumption that most people had where like he would have these god powers for a little bit and then would go back to normal. But that Venom just never went back to normal. and then Eddie Brock and the symbiote separated and are now with different people. So it's just like, at what point do you stop talking about him in the analysis, or do you go on a whole tangent about a bunch of stuff that's not relevant to the matchup you're doing?
Yeah, that's kind of a lot of that's going on with Venom.
Like, I feel like at this point, I almost call like this almost feels like a Kid Goku situation where it's like, clearly we're not using the multiversal stuff in this matchup. Do we just stop talking about Venom comics post 2017?
Dude, post 2009, are you kidding me? Anything past that, fucking Filia's dead. Filia's already dead, mind you. Filia's just stopped.
Yeah, like
I think you can argue Filia hits harder, but Venom is like like in terms of street tiers, like Venom is like the most durable out there. Like he like genuinely to the point that I don't even know if Filia can kill him if he does nothing, and he just has like a bunch of hacks even if he can't do enough to damage her by just punching.
Venom also has a lot of like pretty good regeneration, so like you could always. So like even if Filia does hit harder, Venom could just regenerate from it and then come back. And I don't know. He probably has some Darkness options. I can't remember right now.
One interesting thing, at least for like a fight animation, is that in Skullgirls, like the main boss fight takes place underneath a church. So having it take place like in that area of like the Skullgirls city, I forget what it's named, but like having it set there and then using the church bell to kind of play off of things would be fun. It's not going to change Filia's fate, but it would be cool to see.
Why the fuck would we have two Venom matchups that have churches involved?
Because the church is very iconic for Venom. The symbiote lived in the church for a little while. A janitor gave him some candy. It was very wholesome.
Is that real?
And then that's where Eddie Brock went to go pray to God to have him kill Peter Parker. Like that's easily the funniest thing about Spider-Man. In
tears, might I add, in the movie.
Yeah, he was crying. He walked over to the church, cried in front of God, and said, "Please, God, please kill Peter Parker. Please, he was a bit of a meanie to me." And then
Eddie Brock was the asshole in the situation. He lost the "Am I the asshole" post, and then went to seek God.
He was like, "I read the commandments, so can you do it?"
I'm trying to think of like cool interactions between like maybe the symbiote. Could the Venom symbiote like maybe separate the parasite from Filia or something?
I mean, the parasite is like part of Filia's skull. Like,
I feel like we just kind of talked about like why these characters are weird. I'm trying to actually think about why like the matchup, what its cool aspects are.
Well, Filia's parasite, Samson, he is basically, all of her hair is part of Samson. So he does a lot of similar stuff. Like, her hair doesn't really grow around her like the symbiote does, but she does a lot of shape-shifting. You know, she can grow butterfly wings with it, turn into, like, scissors or sharp objects to stab people. She has, like, a sonic spin dash move. Like,
symbiotes can go inside someone and like perform a surgery while they're conscious, and just be like, "Yeah, I just fix your brain real quick." So it's like they do have like biological manipulation.
Honestly, like I feel like not to discredit this one, but I feel like a better Skullgirls character to send against Venom would be Eliza, because her parasite set is actually a skeleton that lives in her body, and her actual skin is just a blood suit, so it's a lot more thematically closer. Plus, Eliza scales higher in the Skullgirls universe, so it would be a lot closer of a fight too.
But she's a horrible character, so.
I mean,
does this matchup use movie Venom? Because I just looked it up, and that's the first result I found.
I could be wrong. They didn't say it was movie Venom, but I could be wrong.
Oh, the DeviantArt post I'm looking at just said they stick with movie Venom to make it more fair. I don't know if this matchup's popular enough to have like a definitive version where they specify what's being used.
I'd say you just use the comics.
Yeah.
It's safer that way.
Yeah.
And then
yeah,
Venom fights like
To end
Spider-Man.
the conversation, sorry.
I like the vibes.
I would love to get Skullgirls on here. I don't know what my favorite matchup is, though. Yes, I do. It's Heisenko or Shianko versus
Squiggly?
Squiggly, yeah. I really like that one.
Yeah, I
Makes
like that
sense.
one too.
Yeah.
These guys
We
do
need to
have
post
big
on
teeth
the
attacks.
Hey,
Oh yeah.
they
You
do
can
be
have a
biting
teeth
each other.
Weapon clash.
They just keep biting each other. Whoever gets eaten first loses.
Now here's the question: does Filia have regeneration? Because I feel like Venom doesn't care if he gets like chewed up alive; he'll just come back.
I think
So if it's just
Samson,
a bite off, I feel like Filia is not coming out the best in that confrontation.
I think Samson can regenerate. Filia cannot. So
Yeah, Filia gets her
Yeah.
ass knocked out by what's her name, like Black Mamba or something like that. She just gets her
Black
ass.
Dahlia.
Black Dahlia, yeah. Black Dahlia just knocks her ass out.
yeah, she's like she is a high school girl. Like she has high school girl durability. And Samson like basically pulling
High
out.
school girl level durability.
We go to Versus Battle
We
Wiki.
call
We're
it the
like, oh
younger
my god,
sister
it's
for
there.
research.
High school, really, that's not even a normal tier.
Yeah, let me call up my little sister so we can do some durability tests.
Oh god. Okay. This is not going in the direction I thought it was gonna go.
All right, yeah.
Oh, it's me. I wore a pink shirt for this.
There we go.
Collector versus Majin Buu. I think I want to talk about Majin Buu for a second. He is my favorite villain from the Z era. It goes back and forth a lot because I really like Cell too. But Buu, I think, is the one for me. I love how unique he is. I love his mystical abilities. I love how he's like still clearly a problem, but a lot more like childlike and has like. I just like how he has a motivation that isn't just like, I'm gonna destroy you because I'm evil. It's like he actually has like, he can be reasoned with, which I think is cool because very few Dragon Ball antagonists can actually be reasoned with. I think that Collector versus Buu is maybe a weird one because most people are like Outhouse versus Dragon Ball, what? But Buu is the most different Dragon Ball combatant who like fights primarily with like his really weird, tricky, mystical physiology and abilities. And I think this matchup is a perfect idea for a Buu runback because this would essentially be like two cosmic children fighting and the whole country they're in is their playground as they're just like doing all sorts of crazy stuff. I really like the idea of like they're just having fun the whole time, and then one of them accidentally kills the other, and then like a post-analysis they just like bring the other back to life. I think that'd be fun. But yeah, I think there's a lot of cool stuff you could do with this. You could have Buu absorb one of Collector's puppets and get Owl House magic. I think that'd be fun. You can have like them like reshaping the earth around them, Collector, by turning the world into like Collector world, and then like Buu just like casually reshaping it by like putting canyons into it. I think Boo's like weird shape-shifting would be really fun to incorporate in his abilities because Collector does have like an energy sword where he like slices people up, so it'd be really cool to see Buu regenerate from that. I think it'd be cool where they like keep turning each other into stuff because Buu can turn things into candy and Collector can turn things into puppets. There's a really funny script I saw where someone you know that SpongeBob scene where Patrick picks up his whole house and smashes SpongeBob over and over again? Someone did that where like Collector just took the moon and did that with Buu once he started getting angry at him. Like, I don't like you anymore. Bam, 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 with like the moon against the earth. It was really fun. Yeah, I also think this rocks thematically because I think like Mr. Satan and Boo's relationship is really cool. And I think you can compare that to Collector's relationship with King. I think this is like very thematically very strong between both because they're just like they're kids and they're like they're problems, but they're solved via non-violence. They're solved by just kind of talking it out and being like, hey, you know, life has value and we're a lot more fragile than you, so like maybe if you hurt us, then you won't have as much fun because then you'll be lonely and everyone will be scared of you. And then they're like, oh man, that sounds like a bummer. Like, it's literally like it's just dealing with children, except it's the good ending of that one Twilight Zone episode where the one child is not given proper attention and becomes an evil monarch of the town. This is like if someone was actually just like, let's just talk it out, man. I love this matchup. One of my favorites of all time. Maybe my top 10.
Okay.
Yeah, like
I can see it. This match pretty good.
I adore Collector Skull Kid, but like if that doesn't happen, this is a really, really close second for a Collector episode, and I do think this is Boo's best matchup for bringing them back. Like their stories are really close. Like it's really hard to decide between this one and that one. It's just personal preference.
Yeah, I love if like Boo's gonna win. Like, let's not joke around. But like when Boo wins, he like just uses the Dragon Balls to bring him back, and it was like, "You're fun. Let's play again" or something. I think that'd be really cool.
Oh yeah, like these two would be best friends, no doubt.
Because they can actually play with someone who's like at a similar level to them, because they always gotta play with like the kitty gloves on.
Yeah.
Is this using strictly Majin Buu? We're not doing like that weird death battle thing where they switch to Kid Buu by the end of the fight.
Yes, Kid Buu would not be in this fight, especially because Majin Buu is just stronger than Kid Buu now, so it'd be completely pointless.
Is it because of that scene in Super where he fights Goku and Goku's like, "Fuck"? Is that why?
He also fights Moro. He has
Oh
shockwaves.
right.
Undebatably.
Wait, Buu was in the Moro arc?
He's a big part of the Moro arc, in fact, because the Kai is inside of him.
It's so good. And trying to get people to read it, and they're like, "Yeah, I'm good." It's like, read it. It's good. He uses all the characters in fun ways.
My question is why they never animated the Moro arc.
Because of rights issues. Dragon Ball's like, we all want to make money from this, and it's like, we can't all make money from it. Someone's got to make most of the money, and no one can decide that, so it's in limbo.
Ah, I see.
Yeah.
Like, why don't they make more Spider-Man stuff? Because the rights are weird. They're doing as much as they can. They'd be making more.
Yeah, or why there hasn't been new Friday the 13th content.
Yeah.
In any case,
I didn't know Friday the 13th was in the limbo.
I was gonna say, in any case, Moro versus T-Rex 1. Rayman versus Crash Bandicoot.
All right.
I don't
This is
know
fun.
how many people here have played Rayman.
I have not.
I have not. I will say, though, Crash 4 is, like, my favorite 3D platformer.
That's because you're wrong. So,
okay, then.
Wait. What 3D platformer are you heralding as the best, Mr. Sir?
Obviously Bubsy 3D, because someone needs to rep it while Paul's not here.
Okay, that's a really weird way of pronouncing a hat in time, but...
Oh, that game's so mid. Anyway,
Mid!
Rayman vs. Crash Bandicoot. Everyone here has probably played Crash Bandicoot, or at least knows Crash Bandicoot.
Yeah.
He's got the he's got the little Wumpa turrets. He's got his little shoes that make him run fast. That's all he had. No, I'm kidding. He's got the masks from Crash 4 that let him do different things, like essentially hover with a spin jump or defy gravity. Don't know if you would give him that in a versus setup, but I don't see why not. Rayman, he can do a lot of things. A lot of people depict him just like throwing his fists as his way of fighting, but he actually can just throw energy blasts, just like and throw it around. He's got many different things he can transform into different forms, which let him make like tornadoes. He can turn his hands into like literal missiles and shoot missiles at people. He's got little like claws that look like bear traps that he can throw his hands, and a chain comes from his arm. And the little chain comes from his arm, and he starts flinging people around and shit. Thematically, I don't know, other than like legacy characters from platformers back in the day. Thematically, I'm not quite sure what the connections are, but it is very interesting to think about how their kits can essentially vibe off of each other, especially if you start adding in the later Rayman stuff, like from Legends and all that. There's a lot of interesting interactions you can have. Would you give Rayman his fly? You can give Crash his fly. That's kind of cool and fun. They each have little bugs that they ride. Although Crash's is metal and Rayman's is an actual like fucking bug that he rides. But that's still fun. But yeah, if I'm the only one that knows anything about these characters, I don't know what else to say.
Like,
I mean,
I think it's a good idea. I just don't know much about Rayman to really talk about dynamics too much.
Yeah.
It'd be really cool to bring in the quantum masks from Crash 4 into things.
Hello, Mix.
Especially since it gives him a lot more of identity from his original outing versus Spyro.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. You want to know my favorite platformer is Spyro. So there you go.
Okay, that's a fair take.
The original, the one that had the flight programmed by a NASA flight programmer, not the one, not the new one that came out. The remakes, just the original Spyro the Dragon. Very solid, very good game.
Oh yeah, that's fair.
Crash vs. Spyro 2 when? Fuck, Sherm's gone. Or wait, no, this is Dark Lords.
No. Okay, I can talk a lot about, like, Ultima and the Entity. I can talk a bit about 3125, but, like, Sherm would probably have to be the big one. Okay.
Should we skip this one for now and come back to it when Sherm comes back?
Actually, this might work out because I actually have to leave for work soon, so if we could do my last one and then you can kind of go back and I can head off to work.
That one.
Which one?
Oh, there it is.
Yeah, good.
M. Bison versus Rugal, and this was one I really liked back in the day because I like fighting games, and SNK and Street Fighter has a big rivalry, so pitting up against, you know, their own kind of like evil dictator-esque villains just made sense, but after Shao Kahn happened with M. Bison, it just kind of felt like they missed their opportunity, especially when SNK just kept perpetually going in and out of business. But as of like the new games recently, how in Street Fighter 6, M. Bison got revived but lost his memory, but also in SNK, Rugal was recently revealed to also be alive because of the whole verse shenanigans. So ironically, when both of them came back to life, so did this matchup, because it now has a really cool dynamic of like these two old rivals being revived from the dead and now just like being out and loose again. So I think the thematics are really strong then and now really strong again. And I just think this would be a really cool fight, especially if we play into the fact that like this technically is an M. Bison who doesn't really act like Bison. He's just like, oh man, no, the Bison you knew is gone. So it would be really cool if, you know, Rugal throughout the entire fight is just like, oh man, good to see you back again, but I don't want you in the way when I reclaim my empire. And then M. Bison just being like, who the heck are you the entire time?
Is M. Bison in that game different?
What?
Okay.
Is M. Bison in that game different?
Kind of. Like, it's left up in the air. Like, he basically has amnesia and has flashes of it, but he kind of just like, yeah, no, that other guy is new. I'm going to use his name in honor of that man, but I'm going to do my own thing. So he's just kind of like doing his own thing right now.
These two canonically know each other too, right? Because the
Yeah, because of the SNK crossover. So it would be really cool for Rugal to find Bison, comment about their history, and then have Bison just be like, the fuck are you talking about? And even maybe have him have, like, flashes of memory back to, like, Marvel versus... SNK versus Capcom 2, and, like, some of the cutscenes in there during the fight, and then M. Bison being like, What are you doing to me? Stop!
Is M. Bison like that? Does he get freaked out by his flashes?
Well, I don't think he gets freaked out by them, but, like, I just think it would be a really cool dynamic to play into, of just, like, you know, just hinting that he kind of does remember, but he's also like, no, I'm not that person anymore. I'm my own guy.
As someone
like,
who's not a King of Fighters fan, how does Rugal fight?
So Rugal basically is, when you hear SNK boss syndrome, he's like the SNK boss. So he kind of has, you see that glowing eye, he has mystical powers from a god called Orochi, and it's kind of similar to Psycho Power, but not necessarily soul-based. He has, like, you know, red-themed projectiles. He can grab you and just yeet you across the stage. One of his kicks that has incredible range is literally called the Genocide Cutter. So it really just be, like, he doesn't really have too many interesting stuff going on, just, like, your basic cheap boss projectiles and really strong throws and whatnot. But I really think it's like the thematics and the legacy of this matchup of what really kind of helps it stand on its 2 feet.
Trying to think how Rugal could beat Bison. Because I'm pretty sure Bison would just Psycho Power him and annihilate him. Because that's not only just physical, it's spiritual, right?
Yeah, but like his Orochi bloodline also kind of has a few mystical properties in it too. Albeit he's not the most proficient user of Orochi's power. Those are more of his disciples' things, but it's something. I don't think Rugal wins it, but I still think it would be a really cool match to, have go, to watch.
I do like it. I think King of Fighters versus Street Fighter is probably better than like using like Mortal Kombat, so to say. But I'm also a Mortal Kombat versus Street Fighter hater, so be that as it may. But I think it's interesting. I just don't know anything about King of Fighters.
Oh yeah. Plus, like, I haven't read them, but a lot of the King of Fighter games have manga that really go more into depth on the story aspect. Since, games, limited storytelling capacity. So I'm sure that there is stuff in there that kind of expands on his story and what he can do. So we should be able to draw a few things there to kind of help even the odds a bit.
You got me while I'm chewing a cracker. One sec.
But yeah, fighting games.
We need more fighting games on Death Battle.
like them.
Specifically Killer Instinct.
Man, Killer Instinct
Killer
has been
Instinct
for a
and
while.
Darkstalkers.
We need more of those.
Ooh, Darkstalkers, yeah, Darkstalkers.
Saberwolf versus John Telbane runback. Clearly.
Wrong way. Gotta go to
Alright.
this one.
Alright, but yeah, I gotta go to work, so I hope y'all have a good rest of your cat.
I did have a
Alright.
question about
Yeah.
Rayman in Death Battle.
Okay.
Would Ramon be considered at all?
No.
No Ramon.
No Ramon.
Oh.
I gotta get reminded on what Ramon is. If I
That's when
remember.
he took 2 like I don't remember, Tommy gun looking guns and just shot the Templars from Assassin's Creed because they were about to assassinate a frog assassin in the cartoon.
Oh yeah, sorry. You're talking of. I'm thinking of something from the games. You're talking about the. So fun story with that. Fucking what is it called? Laserhawk or something like that. That fucking show.
There.
So it came out, and I saw the clips of like Rayman doing coke and shit, and I don't remember what happened the rest of that day. Maybe I was working. But I got home, I went to bed, and the next day, I remember looking over and being like, I had a weird Rayman dream. Like, it was like doing coke and shit. Like, I thought it wasn't real. And I ended up fucking seeing those clips later on and being like, no fucking way. No fucking way does this exist. That shit was so asinine to me that I thought it couldn't possibly exist in our reality. And I think there's something to say for that. That show also looks fucking awful.
No, it's great.
No, I watched Captain Laserhawk when it came out. It's actually really good. It just gotta get. Yeah, you go.
From what I know from Rayman, it's not like they just like made him like an edgy, crazed gunman out of nowhere. He started as like normal Rayman in this really messed up world, and he went through some stuff.
Yeah,
And then he still
it was a
did still
product
save
of
the day,
fucking
though.
space racism, and then it's just
Yeah.
the fact that like they have this character. I don't know. You're gonna disagree with me, so I'm not even gonna say it. But it's just to
I'm
me
just
it's
playing devil's
acidine.
advocate.
No,
He didn't save the
Raymond
day,
would
though.
not be considered
He
if you're using
saved
game
the day.
Rayman.
Yeah.
You saved the day.
Anyway,
Ooh. Alright.
I know this one.
I know this one too.
You should talk about Godzilla. And then
you
I'll
Yeah.
talk about...
you not only know this one, you fucking submitted it. So
Yeah, okay. I really like this matchup. I think it's super cool. Basically, y'all remember Godzilla Ultima from Hulk vs. Godzilla. He's this basically like extra-dimensional entity who wants to destroy everything in reality, tear it all down, destroy everything. And he's sending kaiju into our own world in order to test humanity and eventually destroy the entire universe. He's basically the idea of Godzilla being this like untouchable monster taken to the absolute extreme, and he's like a really cool and really unique interpretation of Godzilla itself. So I think this is super cool. And he basically Ultima exists as like a singular point for where an extra dimensional entity kind of like exists within the universe. So it's really cool. There's a lot to talk about with Ultima as well, but I'll let Sherm talk about 3125 now.
So what's interesting about this idea for a runback is while Hulk vs. Godzilla did a lot right, it did have to kind of fit in Ultima's more complex nuance amongst a lot of other Godzilla stuff. This matchup focuses primarily on the more conceptual, true form nature of Godzilla Ultima, which is very good for SCP-3125, the otherwise known as the Escapee, the Cosmic Starfish, the Five-Fingered King. He is... I keep saying he for some reason. It is essentially a living idea. If you are aware of what 3125 is, you become a slave to it. And it's not like an idea like some complex, like, oh, I understand Cthulhu now. It's more like, imagine if everyone who knew that shoelaces are normally white, they would then become a slave to 3125. Like, that, it is just an idea that we do not know what it is, but it is an idea, and when you become aware of it, you are now enslaved to 3125. Its whole goal is to similarly kind of become one with every consciousness and then absorb the consciousnesses of those it absorbs. And also, it is a living idea, but it is also the concept of that idea. And in SCP, the concepts are at war with each other, essentially. So what 3125 does naturally is it will go to other concepts and try to consume them to become a larger concept. And I believe, didn't Ultima, isn't there like some implication that there's like a war or of something before the story starts?
Yeah, like basically what happened is the events that we see in Singular Point are not the first time that Ultima tried to enter into our own universe. He like sent a previous Godzilla in, and then it died, and then he's sending a new wave of kaiju in, and like a really cool aspect of this matchup is like both Ultima and 3125, basically they become more dangerous like the more you research and the more you learn about them. So basically it would kind of be it's a fight between basically two ideas of like higher dimensional beings that want to that have the sole goal of destroying everything. Like, yeah, it's really, really cool and interesting, and there's a lot of really cool stuff you can do.
Hi, Pin. Pin showed up in the chat.
In the chat, yo.
Hello.
We like Pin.
Um,
So
cool
kind of
dude.
just briefly describe what 3125 looks like.
Can I have a question actually regarding SCP-3125? So the way SCP works, right, is that there's this organization that's documenting these things, right? And you're essentially reading their files for their documentation. How do you make documents on 3125 if just by knowing it exists, you're now a slave to it? Because you would have to know it exists to document it.
So the interesting thing, the beauty of the SCP Foundation website as a whole, is that the restrictive document format inspires some very creative ways to write it. So 3125, so there is a division of SCP known as the Anti-Memetic Division, and they are experts at fighting things that they don't know they're fighting. Basically, they regularly erase. How you get hired for the Anti-Memetics Division is by being hyper competent without any training. So like the more competent you are without any training, you will be brought on. And the reason this is the case is because you will forget everything you've done at the Anti-Memetics Division regularly. So it's like however good you are on your first day at the job is how good you will be. This is relevant because 3125. So as of reading 3125, it becomes clear that 3125 has already taken over the world, and there is one survivor who has locked themselves in a chamber that 3125 cannot access because it's kind of an omnipresent deity as well as having an avatar. And this room is like blocked, no concept can enter it basically. And this one person is basically, there's a bunch of addendums at the bottom of the article. So it's like the article will be like, there's this thing, we don't know what it is, and we don't know how it works, but we know that it exists in some form or fashion. And then they keep adding addendums as like, we've learned this, but also due to these things going wrong, we must do these to counteract it. And basically by trying to counteract it, they've kind of destroyed the world. And the ending is left vague, because in order to try to do the last Hail Mary thing to solve the problem, the last surviving human had to leave the chamber. So we don't know if they succeeded or not, because they're no longer at the Foundation's computer to continually update the article they have access to.
Yeah.
So basically, they did exactly what you thought would happen. They learned more about it, and then they ruined the world.
What I'm trying to figure out, right, is if the whole gimmick is you learn about it, you're subjugated, then if Ultima learns about it, isn't Ultima subjugated, or does it have a distinct defense to that kind of manipulation?
He might have some distinctive, he might have some counters to it, but like, I think that in general, this is kind of an Ultron versus Sigma situation where the fight's not about what's happening in like our own real world. It's more so going into like the true forms and how they interact, because like it would be the higher, because like the final part of the fight would be the higher dimensional entity facing off against like the 3125's true form within like the new sphere, or like outside the new sphere, or whatever the concept of 3125 exists. Which then brings into a bunch of questions, because yeah, this is like a really interesting matchup, because like the more you think about it and the more you try to figure it out, the more complicated it gets, which would then lead to a very interesting debate, which would lead to a very interesting debate. I think this matchup's really fucking cool. Like giant, like it's a giant kaiju fight that eventually devolves into like big cosmic entities facing off. So yeah.
To kind of just explain really quick what 3125 looks like, because that's actually not obvious. It fundamentally, its true form is like higher dimensional fractally, so you can't actually really know what it looks like. But and I'm actually just gonna share my screen very briefly. The closest we can come to what's true form looks like is if you're just barely starting to comprehend it, it looks like a starfish, because it's like, oh, it's got 5 vague things, but really those 5 things are much closer to kind of hands. So it kind of looks like it's a bunch of hands coming out of like the center of some higher dimensional ball. But yeah, that hand. Oh, I forgot.
Yeah, I'm like, excuse me.
Yeah, dude, like the screws like whoop whoop whoop. I was like, oh.
Yeah, so it looks like that basically. It's like a bunch of hands coming out of like a center thing. It's a
Why
very
is it-
cool.
It kind of looks like something out of Chainsaw Man, like
Yeah.
no dimension.
Yeah. So I think it'd be cool if we like go from like it looks like the shadow of itself, which would probably look like the more traditional starfish thing we see a lot of art of when you look up 3125. But then like when we like access like its true form, it looks like a weird amalgamation of hands, because that's what it's more accurate to its true form. It can also become a guy, but I don't think that's gonna be super relevant in this fight.
Is that the guy in the thumbnail right there? Like, hello.
No, that's Marion Wheeler, the last surviving member of the Foundation.
Oh, you know so much about SCP.
I think it's pretty cool.
So Dark Lord is taking spot and point on this one. Crona, I know Crona, of course, Soul Eater fan, but I do not know Ryuko.
Yeah, okay. So, basically this is a fight between two young girls who were experimented on by their cruel mothers in order to basically become ultimate life forms in a sense. Crona like fully merging with Ragnarok, and Ryuko trying to turn Ryuko into basically like this like clothes monster thing. So basically two girls who were abused by their mothers in order to try and become ultimate life forms, who also fused together with this other thing in order to be able to fight Crona with Ragnarok and Ryuko with her clothes. And then it's basically just a sword, and then it's just a sword fight from there. It's a pretty simple matchup, but I think it's cool.
And their things are sentient, like Corona's, right? Like Corona's sword's got
Yeah,
sentience
like-
to it.
Yeah, it's sentient. It talks with Ryuko, tries to like strategize and stuff. Yeah.
I know when they did Shadow vs. Ryuko, they kind of had criticisms on how they characterized like Ryuko and whatever that thing's name is.
Yeah,
do they usually?
I can't remember what the name is, but basically a lot of the criticisms were around Ryuko being like, basically the way she was talking was similar to how she was talking in like early Kill la Kill, as opposed to like how she acts in later Kill la Kill.
Well,
yeah.
more so what I'm asking is like, is the synergy between Ryuko and the outfit, is that important? Do like they need to stay in sync, and are they in sync when they fight together?
Yeah, they're in sync, and I think they do need to stay in sync while fighting.
And I also know Ryuko has like a Super Saiyan-esque form.
Oh yeah, she has a golden form, which, fun fact, she only uses like one time in the entire show. It's weird.
Damn, she got the GER.
Wow.
Yeah. Yeah, she genuinely, it's like kind of worse than GER, because she uses it once, beats up her mom, and then she like loses the clothes and they die, and she can't use them anymore. Like after this, she was done. She can't use them anymore. But a big thing with Kill la Kill recently is that the game Kill la Kill If, that got basically confirmed canon, so now we'd have to use it in a Ryuko episode, and like that would get her to like multiple times uni. Like I want to say in like the quadrillionth time uni.
Ooh.
That's fucking crazy.
Yeah.
Crona herself,
Wow.
she has the sword. The sword can make hypersonic screams that hurt people's ears. She's got the black blood inside of her, kind of like you'll see in the mock episode coming out, where if you try to cut, well, I guess Crona's not really a her. In the manga, it's more implied that it could be either or, but I'm gonna say her because that's what I've always used. If you cut her, it might not actually like cut into her because black blood like makes you super durable, and if you do cut her, and the black blood comes out, she can manipulate the black blood. There was a time Maka had hit her, and she like stabbed her and didn't do anything, and then she was like, "Oh, that's cool. I'm gonna make spikes appear out of my body now," and her whole body just like jutted out black spikes because of her blood. It's like a congealed mass inside of her body, essentially. Ryuko probably has more dynamic movement because from what I saw in the death battle, they had like a jet form where they're like flying around the screen, and they can fly in general. But
Yeah.
Crona also can fly with the black blood, creating wings. Crona also doesn't only have one sword. I know Ryuko has two swords. I know that doesn't really matter, but Crona could also have two or even more swords. There's I think there's a lot of interesting things you could do with Crona that weren't really explored in the Venom death battle. Understandably so, because Venom's whole weakness is sound, so they really need to focus on the sound aspects of the fight. But I think this sounds cool so far.
Yeah, it's cool. You just kind of have to get past the like monumental stomp.
Can't you
I
just
mean-
use Fire Force scaling to make it more fair?
True.
Okay.
I didn't
Whether
expect to put Dark Lord in the
Soul
back
Eat-
foot so much with that question.
Okay.
We're sweating.
He's
Soul
checking his
Eater's
cue
going
cards.
to Fire Force is like a bit of a contentious topic because of like how weird it is. Like, Soul Eater canonically takes place like 3,000 to 4,000 years after Fire Force ends. So like, but like you could scale them with like Tengen Asura, whatever his name was, and Kishin Asura, that's his name, because Asura was the evangelist back during Fire Force, and the evangelist could take blows from like Shimura Banshō Man, who is like the highest tier within Fire Force. But then it's kind of like, do they scale physically? Because like it's a bunch of downscaling, and then it's weird. I'm not sure. I'm not gonna say anything definitive because we don't have to worry about the Soul Eater episode. We're doing Fire Force, and we don't have to care.
I think it's kind of unnecessary to try to scale Soul Eater to Fire Force, in my opinion.
Yeah, it's weird.
I get why you would do it, but I kind of feel like, thinking about it, it's like, I feel the same way about that than people who are like, well, Ruby wins because she was in Persona, and she can fight Yu Narukami. I'm like, do you really want to say someone wins because something from another series does this?
Yeah,
People are saying
like,
she scales to Superman. Like, fuck, Crona now scales to Superman. Let's go. No, wait, no, that's not how that works.
That's how I feel about the Invincible crossover with a Supreme who can like move universes.
Isn't
Like,
like
you really want to say
Supreme's
Omni-Man
power
wins
like
because he scales to
dictated by
Universal
who he's
from this
by?
completely separate comic.
Correct.
Yeah, but isn't like also Mean Supreme's power like dependent on like who he's fighting? So
I don't
like
know.
he gets.
Ah, fuck this
Great
conversation.
response. I don't know.
were talking about Ryuko versus Crona, I intended for my invincible thing to be like a brief like point up. I don't actually care about like debating the canonicity of the invincible crossovers right now.
Okay, well, if you also want to go into crossovers, then like Mark heavily upscales Spawn because like.
Why are we talking about Invincible?
I don't know how we got here.
In any case, this is a cool matchup. I think we talked about it.
I think it's fun.
Jobber, you have some splaining to do.
Huh? Oh, this one for like a run back for like for Courage.
Yeah.
I think. Huh? Well, I mean, this one's like very, very straightforward. Like you'll look at like
Why did they use a yellow template?
Beats me, but like I remember there's one thumbnail of like basically it's kind of the same thing we're looking at right now, but like Curry's like, oh shit, like you see the barn like whatever, but you see behind him a shadow, and then just like it's just in around the earth. Like I don't know, I don't know. I feel like the crossover between these two feels so natural. And also, it's a base Courage W. I don't think there's anything Zim can do. I don't know.
So you like it more because you can imagine the worlds crossing over, in it feeling natural.
Yeah, pretty much. Like, I'm not saying it's like the greatest thing of all time, but I, when I was a kid, it was this was like the idea I always had at the back of my mind. Like, I would like this to be a cool Courage and Cowardly Dog episode. You
This
know,
is a childhood legacy matchup.
Yeah.
Ooh.
You know what? Jobber is having fun, and God bless him for it.
He's just sitting. He's like that one meme where
Wouldn't it be
it's like
cool
a
if
dog
this guy
with
fought this
a
guy? You're
lollipop
damn
gun.
right it would be.
He said, imagine this happens over Zim Crypto. When we're done with it, they won't even need to do Zim Crypto, alright? We got this
Exactly.
shit. We got this shit in the
Exactly.
bag.
All of us have seen how good the Zenbrook Crypto is for this show. Like, trust me, once we're done, Death Battle won't need to do that.
Yeah, exactly. We're cooking.
Might I say, we're putting them out of business.
Yeah, we're gonna put Death Battle to shame with this one.
I'm trying to think. So Zim, I was not the researcher on Zim. That was Paul when she was here. But I believe he's got a bunch of cookie things. He could take your organs out. It doesn't matter for Courage, the Cowardly Dog, because he can apparently survive without a body. He can turn your body to ham. Courage has the orb that can do anything.
Yeah.
I'm trying to think what Zim has that could possibly counter that.
But what if Zim? I forgot. I think it was. Doesn't Zim have like a whole planet as a ship? Was it Mars or I think it was Mars, right? You could ride Mars or whatever. Like, I remember he had like Zim could ride some planet. Like he turned the whole planet into a vehicle. And so, what if Zim brought that to Earth, and like Courage was like, ah! And then the planet just shatters. Like Zim's like, what? Huh? What? What? Like I don't know. This is crazy stuff.
Jobber,
I was just thinking that you did. Get a pair of ears. Fine, it's fine. Wasn't
What's
that
up?
loud.
I'll buy new ears. All right, I'll purchase some new
no.
ears.
I just shattered Plim's ears.
That's the feat. Put it in put it in the cast scaling chain. Jobber canonically scales above climb.
Shattered his ears. I was like, I don't know. Sorry about that, but like, yeah, just I think there's a lot of like funny things you could do with this type of fight.
Oh no, I get it. Once you said that it was more like a crossover kind of thing, I was like, okay, I get it. Like Courage deals with a bunch of crazy shit, and Alien is not out of left field for fucking Courage the Cowardly Dog.
Oh yeah, absolutely. It's just.
Wait, I found a list of connections.
Oh, there's actually a list.
Two dark
They have
TV
connections?
protagonists.
Is that it?
That's
Yeah,
it.
was
Yeah.
that-
What?
Oh wow, that that was.
The
really-
protagonist? That's it?
I wouldn't consider. But yeah, something.
What
Alright.
was I gonna say? Oh my god. I was gonna say first two things. Number one, I took this thumbnail over ones that possibly looked better because I don't understand where they got the yellow death battle template. And secondly, Courage the Cowardly Dog is the only cartoon that as a kid gave me nightmares, and I think the same episode that gave me nightmares is the same one that gave a lot of people nightmares. The return the slab one. Where he's like that creep.
Return the slab.
That shit
Return
fucked
the
me up.
slab.
Yeah,
Someone says that the start to this fight would be Zim kidnapping Muriel to like do like experiments.
Muriel.
Yeah.
Muriel.
You know what? Wait, actually, I just realized, like, I don't think Courage actually said this in the. This is a missed opportunity because Courage didn't even say this in the Scooby, like, Courage, like, fight. Where he should say in this fight, actually, just like, the things I do for love. Like, come on, that's a classic. The things I do for love.
I mean, to be fair, with that setup, Muriel is not there unless he loves Scooby-Doo or the monster chasing them. I don't know if that would work.
Exactly, but with Muriel, we have because with Muriel, like this is a perfect setup. Because Zim would totally probably do that, like capture Muriel. It'd be like exactly how Courage the Cowardly Dog episode starts. Like Courage is like going through like all of Zim's shenanigans. Like, man, the things I do for love, like this is insane.
This
I found
sucks.
some additional connections.
Oh,
The show is named after them. That's a connection. They are famous for their hyper-expressive, dark, and over-the-top animation. They have gone through controversies for pushing the boundaries of what is acceptable to show in a kids' show, and were known for having episodes with incredibly disturbing and sometimes even quite explicit content.
That's true.
And
Invader
they-
Zim is fucking scary.
And they say it's a contrast where Courage is an Earthling fighting aliens, and Zim is an alien that is trying to conquer Earth.
Yep.
I think he fights more than just aliens, but he does fight aliens sometimes.
Aliens are among the things that come to nowhere.
And both shows feature humans that just, like, don't buy that any of the stuff is happening around them.
yeah. I think
They're
my
just,
favorite-
like... they just don't believe it for whatever reason. Like, I don't know, it doesn't seem
Yeah.
quite right.
What is it? Don to Don?
Yeah,
I got you.
Yeah, Don.
You're trying to trigger me, Prime, and it's not gonna work, okay?
I think my favorite like.
Look,
Courage
I've gone to my
Cowardly Dog-
therapy. I know what I need to do. You can't hurt me.
But like, I do think my favorite Courage the Cowardly Dog, like human character. I don't know his name. He's just the guy with the shades on. He's like, "Watch where you going, you fool!" He just drives away. I know. It just sticks with me. Who is this guy? I don't know. He's always beefing with like Courage. I don't know why.
Dario said this could be such a passion project. You have no idea. If we let Jobber go unrestrained for any kind of matchup that he's interested in, we might be here for 3 days.
You know, we're kind of making fun of it a little bit for being kind of random, but there are a lot of thumbnails and trailers I'm seeing, so clearly this is an idea in the general cultural zeitgeist to some degree.
I mean, I did say as a crossover, it makes a lot of sense, and it really works.
If we did this matchup, we would make so much money off of nostalgia. So much.
I do like money.
This would be GoFundMe. Listen, next week I'll start a GoFundMe for Zim versus Courage. I know we're already doing Zim versus Crypto.
I would-
So we already have half the resources we need.
Correct. The research is done.
All right, if we make $1 billion on GoFundMe, we will make this episode.
Yeah.
We have a lot of excess money. Don't know where the extra shit's going, but it'll find a home.
Right to Darkcore.
You'll just see,
Right
like,
into Darkcore's pockets.
Exactly.
yeah, exactly. You'll just see me like Jabber just begging Flint to do like you guys, Zim Courage. I don't know. Oh,
After
no.
the episode's done, we just lie on all the extra money like that one Breaking Bad clip.
Yeah, I get you. This one's like I consider this one
Monf,
like
you
a,
hate this matchup, so you should talk about why you hate it.
I don't hate it. What? I said that I had said on the Discord previously that I think there's a bit of a dynamic issue with both their kits because it kind of feels really basic. And me and Sherm had found a better, or not, I won't say better, but like a different Ichigo matchup that I vibe with. And so we were like, cool, and kind of left it at that. But I do think thematically, I mean, I'm pretty sure Ichigo is just based on Yusuke, and Bleach is very much inspired by Yu Yu Hakusho. Two people who were like delinquent type characters who got demeaned, and I mean, in Ichigo's case, it was his hair color. Yusuke's case, he was just very aggressive because of his home situation, and he feeling like nobody cared about him. Both of them enter this kind of spirit world thing, even though Spirit Detective is not the way I would describe Yu Yu Hakusho. They both enter this spirit world type thing where they gain spiritual powers, with Ichigo getting like his Zanpakuto, and Yusuke getting spirit energy. Is that what it's called in Yu Yu Hakusho? I'm blanking.
Genki?
Yeah, I think it's called spirit energy.
And they both learn to do different things. Ichigo and Yusuke are very much different characters in terms of their wants and desires. A lot of people complain that Ichigo is like very basic because his whole desire is to get stronger and protect people, and I could argue that point, but not here. And Yusuke kind of just floats at the seat of his pants. Like, he doesn't have any like real wants and desires. In fact, he doesn't even know what he wants to do with his life. He just kind of does things day to day, and if that involves fighting spirits, it involves fighting spirits. But then there's also stuff where it's like, oh, I gotta protect. Oh my god, I'm so pissed. I watched so much Yu Yu Hakusho back in the day. What's his girlfriend's name?
Fuck, it's been too long since I watched.
Bro, I'm so pissed. I was ready to talk about this and everything. I knew the name, and I looked it up before the cast, and now I can't remember it again.
Hey, can any of our 3 viewers help us out here? What is the name of Yusuke's girlfriend?
We could just Google it. But anyway,
no, we gotta get that chat interaction somehow.
Initially, I had said that the dynamic doesn't work. Keiko, thank you, Chris. Initially, I said this matchup doesn't work dynamically because of the whole like. It would feel really simple. Ichigo fights with swords, but outside of that, he's kind of just really fast. He does have things like the Quincy abilities, like Blut, which is like they essentially like have a hardness to their skin, like their body's covered in reishi. They can like block attacks. But at the end of the day, Ichigo is going to be doing things like shooting beam attacks, going really fast, and slashing with his blade. And Yusuke, where he can like harden his limbs in a way where he can start dodging guns and swords and all things. Like, that's how he fights Hiei and Toguro when he's, like, flicking literal, like, air bullets at him. So he could block the sword, but Yusuke's got Spirit Gun, Shotgun, and stuff like that, so he's really just going to be running fast and punching a lot. And yeah, that was my initial issue, is like, oh, I'd like a character, usually with a more simple character, I like them to fight a character that's more dynamic, so we can do something more dynamic. But since that, I've kind of turned around on it, realizing that, like, we could there's other things you can do to make it interesting outside of, like, just, oh, beam attack, whatever. Like, there's things you could do environmentally or story-wise that could make this interesting, and the characters bouncing off of each other would be actually very entertaining.
Like, I mean, I guess an idea, like, could have, I mean, it's like, just how, like, you know, I guess Yusuke fought sense with it. For example, let's say, like, what if, I don't know, what was it, Ichigo, he throws a huge attack that, you know, throws Yusuke into some water. Yusuke just jumps out of the water. They go back to, like, clash at each other again, only for Yusuke to rip off his shirt, and then, like, basically wrap it around Yusuke's arm that's holding his sword. He's like, whoa, what are you doing? Like, what is this? And, like, Yusuke's like, it's called street fighting. I don't think you've ever heard of it.
Yeah, Ichigo like, does street fighting way before the show, like before the sword play.
Yusuke would still shit talk him like that.
Yeah. True. There's also, I see online people make the connection of them having like the demon forms that they can't control that come out during intense emotion, but I also think that's a fucking lie on Yusuke's side, because his demon form was directly connected to his father momentarily taking control of his body. So if his father died, there'd be no reason to assume that he would just lose temper again, because it never happens again. And
right.
Ichigo has full control of his abilities by the end of the series, to the point where he doesn't even use his Hollow Mask anymore. He doesn't need to. He's already fully in tune with Zangetsu.
Would
So
people be mad if we did Vasto, Lorde, Ichigo versus the Yusuke that fought Sensui in the final battle? If that's a connection people want. It's like arbitrarily like halfway through the series to make that one connection work.
Bro, that would be fucking hilarious. The literal title is Vasto Lorde Ichigo versus Demon Yusuke.
What?
Who do you think we are? Cartoon Fight Club?
What is Cartoon Fight Club? Never mind. Not important.
That's for another day.
Yeah.
That is a
Come
very
back
good
to
more
next
outrageous
cast where we watch all of Cartoon Fight Club.
Oh, my
Oh
God.
God, no! Please, no!
And,
Please.
and right after that, we'll watch cartoon. What is it? Beatboxing?
The show that
Cartoon
that one guy
beatboxing.
who spent like 50 grand on. Like,
Yeah, that has been
doing-
hotel animation. Yeah. Any case, I think Ichigo and Yusuke, I've come around to it a little bit more, and I think it's interesting. I think Ichigo has a better matchup spread than I thought, and none of those people include Twilight Princess Link. So,
Something just came up for me. Could we skip to mine real quick?
oh yeah, we only got one more for you, right?
Yeah, just the
We're-
yeah.
We're
Number
dropping
one,
people like flies
can we
over
talk
here.
about potentially the sickest thumbnail I've ever seen, real quick?
Yeah, this looks awesome. I would never use it on a YouTube thumbnail, but this looks awesome.
Oh yeah, it's not. Well, I mean, it does have their names on the thumbnail, which helps a little bit.
But they're small.
Yeah, yeah, and they're like highly like stylized text, so it wouldn't maybe immediately occur to the brain as words. Anyway, it's 682 versus Doomsday. Most people know it. Most people love it. I want to touch on the Doomsday factor because I feel like a lot of people hyper focus on the 682 factor, but this is the returner cast, and I kind of want to talk about why it's such a good matchup for Doomsday in particular. I think a lot of people.
Hey guys, I'll
simplify-
be back in like just 2 seconds. Okay.
I think a lot of people simplify Doomsday down to just being like a rage monster and nothing more. I think Doomsday is like an interesting character because he was, as we learned from like the Doomsday Wars storyline, he's essentially built to surpass everything. This is gonna sound really weird, but he's basically DC's Simone the Digger, where he's just like, I'm going to continually grow, continually surpass everything. I'm going to surpass the gods. I'm going to surpass everything in DC and eventually become... I am everything's Doomsday. I am... Essentially, he is the end of all things, which is very interesting when he gets sent to the end of the universe, supposedly dies to entropy, but then becomes the Time Trapper, who is also the embodiment of entropy and has also called itself the end of all things. It is the thing that all things eventually come to. And I think Doomsday, thematically and narratively, is genuinely really cool once you start putting all the pieces together. Because they don't they're not super overt about it, but this is there. I think Doomsday is, and this, people are gonna make fun of me for saying this, Doomsday is like a shockingly subtle character. But yeah, I think Doomsday is really cool, and I think the fact that he is like this entity that he's like the opposite of Superman, basically. Like, Superman represents unyielding hope, and Doomsday is like literally the end of hope. He is like the hope dasher, is kind of like what he is. He is inevitable doom. And I think that's like really cool to compare to the unkillable reptile 682. I also think a lot of people have talked about the dynamic at their base forms. I want to talk about some of the things Time Trapper can do, because I feel like not a lot of people have talked about just the animation potential that Time Trapper adds. Time Trapper can grow larger than infinity. Like, there is one time that Time Trapper was like beefing with some guy named Infinity, and like Infinity's like, I am infinite, I can do whatever I want. And then Infinity, I think he grows to the size of Infinity, and he calls like Time Trapper nothing basically, and Time Trapper's like, "You bitch, you don't know who you're talking to," and literally becomes bigger than Infinity to the point where Infinity's just in his hand. So that's cool. Time Trapper can make you fight people you fought previously. So we could have like a moment where Time Trapper makes 682 fight like the Gate Guardian and just like blasts him with holy angelic energy, which is really fun. Yeah, a lot of people talk about like, oh, Time Trapper is an instant L because 682 has time manipulation, so he would just like cause a paradox. Time Trapper also has really, really layered time manipulation because he is a antagonist of the Legion of Superheroes who time travel all the time. And it's basically like Time Trapper is like the best time travel person in the DC universe. He's basically like, he has this thing called like the Iron Curtain of Time or whatever, and makes it so like you can time travel. Could 682 overcome this? Probably. I think 682 with the stuff he adapts to is a good argument that he can also gain enough layer time manipulation to get through it. But it's going to be extremely hard. He also has a time stop that works on both Doomsday, Superman, and Superwoman. And these are characters that are like immeasurable several times over, but yet a time stop from Time Trapper still works on them. So it's like a time stop that works on immeasurable characters. I think Time Trapper adds a lot to the dynamic that's genuinely really, really cool. Yeah, I don't think I need to sell too much because I feel like most people already like. I just kind of want to talk about like why it's a really good returner for Doomsday specifically.
If this were a prank show, I would literally look at you right now and be like, "You just got proper nouned, dude. You hit me with so many fucking proper nouns." I was like, "Oh shit." Yeah. I do think people think this is a stomp on 682's end, but I don't personally think so.
Oh no, like this should be like bare minimum a high def win for 682. Like the fight would literally go to like the end of like time itself, and even then the fight would continue even past that. So if that's not the definition of
a tie.
What?
There's a strong argument that it's just a tie.
Yeah, on
it probably is.
Another thing I maybe want to touch on, people act like Doomsday has no conceptual manipulation. He literally, when he went to Hell, the First of the Fallen could not do anything, and the First of the Fallen can manipulate the entirety of Hell, which is like a conceptual realm. Like, he does have conceptual manipulation resistance, just want to throw that out there, because people keep trying to simplify Doomsday down to a stat brick. He was the 682 before people hopped onto the 682 bandwagon. He was the, I don't care what your hacks are, I'm Doomsday.
That's cool, bro. I'm ripped.
He's like, that's cool. I adapt. Punch. I win.
Yeah.
That's what it is.
I think it's a cool one.
I remember someone said like Doomsday fell off after he killed Superman, and it's just like, what the fuck? He killed Superman. What the fuck else do you want him to do?
I think it's more
what's
like
up from there.
Killing.
He went to Hell and like negged Satan. Like he
negged Satan.
He's just like, what do you want from him? He's like, he shows up and he wins. That's what he does. People acting like he fell off when he's like top 10 in DC right now.
He'll always be top 10 DC.
Yeah.
He should probably just be number 1 because not even the top 9 can kill him. But still.
Well, I mean, recent comics would disagree with you, but there's a reason I'm saying Darkseid versus Scarlet King is debatable now, but that's a whole nother tangent.
Yeah, maybe I'm just not caught up on DC. But I think it's cool. I think for a while people thought this was the one Death Battle would do more likely. I think now people are leaning towards them doing SCP-096 versus Toru.
Me and Joe were just patting ourselves on the back right now.
Yeah. But I think it's cool. We need to get SCP here sometime.
I gotta go. Sorry about this, guys. Something just came up. I'll see you later. Y'all have a nice stream.
Yeah. You have a nice life.
Don't die. Now it's just me, Dark Lore, and Jobber. You know, some people say that we're the next Three Stooges, so this actually works out.
Well, which Stooge am I?
I should have prepared. I don't know the Three Stooges. I just thought three's in the name. That'll work.
Okay, but being real, who here actually like who knows what the name of the Three Stooges are? There's like the one guy with the funny haircut, the one guy who doesn't have any hair, and then the third guy.
I don't know, like, Three Stooges specific. I mean, where they're at.
Can I be the one without any hair?
Why would you want to have no hair?
I feel like I would look good.
And also, the
blonde.
guy looks like a stereotypical, like, dumb gangster from, like, a 50s movie.
I feel like that you're just describing me at this point. In any
I'm saying
case,
he looks like...
we got Sukuna versus Dio Brando.
Battle of they're really fucking evil and they really have a hard time staying dead. Like, they have a problem with that.
Yeah, I kind of like this fight in a sense. I think it's one of the Sukuna fights that can really utilize Maharaga in a sense of like Maharaga, like this guy is he's stopping time, adapt, like
Maharaga, crush his balls.
Yeah, Maharaga, adapt, do something, right? Where it's like okay, where you can have like Dio at his like basically at his strongest, right? He has like the Joestar blood, right? He's got like what 10-second time stop that's gonna keep growing, and throughout the fight, he's fighting Sukuna. This guy's basically a 3v1. Yeah, I guess Sukuna like Shikigami, Maharaga, up against Dio and Stan. They're just I can imagine the stakes of this fight where, let's say for example that like
Oh, let's say for example, gotta go.
Well, to be fair, someone was at his door.
Yeah, no, I heard it.
Yeah, okay. Yeah, this fight's cool. It's just like two really evil guys who are fighting. I think playing into like their regeneration and like how hard it is for them to stay dead in the fight would be really cool. I think that you could have a really cool ending shot because like I think Dio wins maybe, but like if Dio wins, then you could have Sukuna like drag him into Malevolent Shrine, and then you could see all the cuts starting to form as like Sukuna's just laughing, watching as Dio is like dying, and then he just stops time, walks through all of the oncoming slashes, and then just donuts Sukuna as he can do nothing, as he can do absolutely nothing, and then like dies or something. I don't know. I think that there's a lot of like cool stuff you can do for this dynamically. Like,
I gotta head out. I gotta do some stuff, but
That's crazy.
Yeah.
The one day,
no.
the one day I can stay late and do shit is the one day everyone's fucking gotta go.
Mine is not even by choice.
I got you. Don't worry.
bruh.
I catch y'all though.
Yeah.
Have we go on. That
Alright,
was
that was
down
just-
to 2.
Alright, the dynamic duo. I don't know, matchup's cool. I like pure evil. I like a big pure evil fest. I think that would be really cool to have on the show. Sukuna, I think he's cool. I definitely want to do a Sukuna episode, but there's a bunch of different options for him. But like Dio is definitely a very good option. So it'd definitely be a fun episode to do. Like just having both be like as maniacal and evil as possible.
Not even caring about the casualties.
Yeah, like you could have like a reverse. Like, you remember that one scene in Goku Black versus Reverse Flash where it's like, yeah, Goku Black versus. Oh, Saul's here.
Alert. Red spy in place. Hello.
Hi. Yeah, everyone.
We're still on stream, by the way, just so you know.
No, I knew that. Don't worry.
Okay.
Okay. But yeah, like you remember that one scene in Goku Black versus Reverse Flash where Eobard just kind of like takes that guy takes the guy who looks like Wiz, who's like grieving his dead girlfriend, and then just uses him as a body shield against all the ki blasts.
Mm-hmm.
I think having scenes like that in the fight where they're just using the people around them callously in order to like just continue fighting with one another would be really fun to have.
Why did everyone leave?
Everyone for different reasons.
Okay, so Zoro had work. Sherm said something came up and he had to go, and then someone knocked on Jobber's door. He went mute, and then he was like, "Hey, I got to go do something," and then he was gone.
Okay, fair enough. And now you've got me.
Back
Hey,
to
look, I'm in
three.
for the long haul.
I
I
finished my shift an hour early.
Now we got Trace Leches. Let's go.
Now you've got me, and I'm the meanest about all of you guys' matchup. So,
You will suck.
Oh, he's gonna say.
Speaking of-
no, he's gonna
speaking
say
of
something
mean-
rude.
speaking of mean, this matchup is kind of poo-poo doo-doo fart.
It's okay.
Okay.
So
I
It's
get,
okay.
I get the general idea of it, but I don't think I don't think they really play off of each other's abilities really well. You know?
Yeah.
I think personality-wise they do. And I think the argument that Maharaga could probably adapt to the time stop, I do find interesting.
Yeah, maybe.
If you give him Maharaga, that is.
Yeah.
I don't know
Yeah,
whether
but
you would
I
tie
think this
that
matchup-
strictly to Megumin or.
But I know, I just don't think Sukuna can really play interestingly off of the world as a stand.
Yeah, I think this matchup is cool though. There's definitely like fun stuff you can do. But yeah, I'm not 100% convinced on this just yet.
Sukuna versus King Piccolo win. I'm kidding. That's a joke. We went through that one. I was hoping someone that knew the character on the right would help me out.
I know the second coming.
I am a really big AVA guy. I can do Second Coming. Okay.
I'm trying to understand, based on my knowledge of Digimon, of course, I'm a big Digimon guy, and I'm assuming this is using Tai's Agumon, so evolving so-and-so to War Greymon. Yeah, hopefully the guy shows up that requested this. How does Second Coming work? Because I was like, he's like this fucking crazy threat that could like open black holes and do a bunch of crazy shit. So I'm just trying to understand.
So basically, like a long time ago, there's this little guy named Alan. He drew a stick figure on his computer, and the stick figure came alive, and then started like destroying his computer. This went on. He contained the stick figure, but this went on like two or three more times until eventually that one stick figure left. So then, years later, Alan would then create another stick figure that he promised would not turn alive in order to fight him. He only did one of those things where another stick figure came alive, that being the Second Coming. His name literally being the Second Coming of the Chosen One. So he's the second protagonist of the animator versus animation series, and he can basically access anything within the internet in order to use them. So you got stuff like he's entered League of Legends, Minecraft, like YouTube.
Minecraft is like an entire side series.
What?
Minecraft is like an entire dedicated side series, right?
Yeah, like he's got
Pokemon.
Yeah, Minecraft. Yeah, there's like I want to say like 36 Minecraft videos alone, which is like they have like entire story arcs in them. AVA is a really cool series, but like one of the big things in it is like nobody talks in it like ever. So you kind of nobody ever talks in it. So every single thing has to be conveyed in like by motion or like by people pointing or like trying to mime what's happening, which is really interesting. So basically Second Coming, he's a stick figure who can access anything on the internet in order to use it in creative ways in order to fight people in extremely well choreographed fight scenes. Like, trust me, it's like weird how good everything is choreographed in animator versus animation. Like, yeah, that's pretty much the second coming. He's a pretty simple character overall.
I don't know if anyone needs me to go over Agumon as comparatively, because Agumon's been on Death Battle. But obviously, if we're using Game Agumon, I will say this is probably more debatable. But if you're going anime Agumon, he can go up to War Greymon. And obviously, like I said in the cast, there's arguments for, like, them moving in places that time does not exist. Although I will say I've later found out that is a hacks and not a stats situation. Yeah. So that's specifically Digidestined, Digivice type thing. But they have hacks to withstand time manipulation. They have they're strong enough to... I'm trying to remember the stat. War Greymon itself was able to fight off Metal Edamon, who turned into a massive black hole that was sucking in everything, and I think he destroyed the same black hole. I had the calcs back when we did the cast, but I don't have them anymore.
The second coming has like uni stuff, by the way.
Huh?
Yeah, like he, like, from the Minecraft series, he has this Minecraft block, which basically allows him to place anything he wants, and he can even enter it into this staff thing, which he can use in order to be able to create anything he wants in Minecraft better.
Yeah, fun. Don't you remember from the cast?
Yeah.
Don't you remember from the Henry Second Coming cast?
Yeah, I remember.
Which one?
The one that was actually a...
Okay, look. Okay, the first one doesn't count because somebody messed up and then broadcasting the fact I thought Henry would lose during the pre-show. But yeah, then we had the second one, and that one failed miserably, and then we moved on to the third one. But yeah, that was... I gotta say, that cast was really fun, even if the gods of internet were screwing us over.
I get it now. Second Coming, they had the Pokemon side series. It's just Digimon versus Pokemon again. What the fuck?
Where we started.
I think Tannis posted this one. I'm gonna have to ask if he means Game Agumon other than that, because I feel like Game Agumon probably fits better within the world of Henry Stickmin. Or not Henry Stickmin. Yeah, Second Coming. I think there is something here. I just don't know it.
I think you might be able to like make something, considering, because you could there's definitely something here with like digital characters and like their worlds and such, and like you could definitely make something here, but I'm not sure what it is because I'm not that big into Digimon. I watched like Fusion back when I was like 12 and nothing else.
You watched the worst one. No, actually,
it was
Fusion.
The only one that was on Netflix. Okay.
Actually, no, it's not the worst one. Frontiers is the worst one.
Oh,
now they have a horror series one. Iron Man versus Kamen Rider Bill.
Ooh, okay. This is really fucking cool. Basically, it's the smartest guys within the entire series who build their own. Oh, okay, we lost Klein. Okay,
I'm listening.
Basically, they're the smartest guys within their own. Some of the smartest guys within their own series. They're constantly building new suits in order to be able to be superheroes, and one of the main reasons why they want to be heroes is to make up for their past, where they used their genius in order to basically be evil. For Tony, he built weapons and didn't care about the casualties and destruction. While for Sento, he was the devil scientist who basically built a bunch of different bad stuff and was doing a lot of evil stuff. So now they're trying to make up for it by being heroes and constantly innovating on everything they do in order to save their worlds from any apocalyptic stuff. I think this is really fucking fun. It's just like it's two really smart guys who are also like really smug about their own intelligence, and they're very egotistical. So seeing them talk would be super fun. Seeing them both come up with different countermeasures to everything their opponent is doing, and thus changing around the types of suits they're using in order to fight would be so cool. And also, you could have a kind of similar moment to what happened in Batman versus Iron Man, where you can have like Iron Man summon the like Iron Legion or Full House Protocol, whatever you want to call it. He basically summons all the Iron Man suits in order to fight Sento. While Sento enters his Rabbit or Tank form in order to just start ripping through everything they have. Eventually coming down to like their highest tier god armors. As then it's just, and then they're just fighting. I think this matchup's really fun. There's a lot you can do with it. It would definitely it would definitely like take a lot of effort in order to make sure we have everything, but like the final product could be so fun. And I genuinely think this is like a really debatable matchup, because like I don't think a lot of people give Sento the kind of stuff that he does have, because like everything that he has, he could genuinely give stuff like the Iron Man Celestial Slaying armor. I think he could give that a run for its money. Like, yeah, I think this matchup's really cool. It's just fun.
Sherm said the most viewed fan battle cast, but I'm pretty sure this hasn't been on fan battle cast.
No,
he's talking about the Spider-Man.
He's talking
one.
about Henry versus the Second Coming.
Oh, okay. Okay, I just saw that late. Got it. I think this one sounds fun. I don't know anything about Kamen Rider, but I learned about Build. I learned about a bunch of forms from the fan battle cast he had with Spider-Man. Spider-Man.
Composite Man, as I called him in the car.
Yeah. I think one of the coolest things that you can have in this fight is like Sento, his bottles, they've actually shown the ability to like steal different powers from like Kamen Riders in the past. Like he has been able to steal it from folks like X-Aid, and depending on if you want to use like the toy lines, which we know, like I have an entire thing about it, I'm not going to get into it now, but like depending on how you interpret it, like the bottles that Sento uses in order to like capture everything, like they can steal things down to like the digital, the viral, the like spiritual, the mystical. It could steal them down to like a bunch of different small levels, which I'm not sure Iron Man has counters for. So like Sento could literally steal Iron Man armors mid-fight in order to start using them himself, which I think would be really fun.
I also like the fact that you switched what you were saying earlier when I was coming back. You were like, this would be one of the most this would take a lot of effort to do. I'm like, motherfucker, I know it's gonna be expensive. Don't lie to me.
Alright, okay. Alright, I will admit this would take like a lot of resources and a lot of effort to make, but like I think that if we did it, it would be like easily one of our best episodes. Also worth saying, I got like a ton of friends who are really into this matchup. So this would so if we did this, it would make a lot of people happy.
I feel like this is pretty popular in the Kamen Rider circles. Honestly, I've seen this a lot.
Yeah, it's easily one of the most popular Kamen Rider matchups. Like, okay, I think here's how I view it. So there's like the big three Kamen Rider matchups in Cap versus Ichigo, Decade versus Gokai Red, and Draken versus Oma. And then below the big three, there's like two others which are notably far more popular than everything else, in Seto Kaiba versus Kamen Rider Gem, and Iron Man versus Kamen Rider Build. And after that, every single other Kamen Riders matchups, popularity falls off a cliff.
Because who the fuck even knows what a Kamen Rider is? But I think this is cool. I like it. Oh,
Yeah.
So fucking. This was supposed to be Jobbers. I don't know who this guy is. I know he's from JJK, but I don't know who he is. But
I
this
can
one,
I can talk about him.
we're gonna
Yeah,
go back to it. It's technically after this one, because we have 3 more, I believe, 3 more left.
Yeah.
This is
Although
the one.
I will say this, I want to say this about Kamen Rider's popularity. Toei is finally making an effort in order to make Kamen Rider popular in the West, because the most recent show, which just started airing like a few days ago, Kamen Rider Zets, they are like actually releasing it in America, so like American audiences can like easily see it. So like hopefully this effort will finally make Kamen Rider popular in America, so then Death Battle can do more like Kamen Rider matchups, and it would be profitable. Like
All they gotta do is do one, and then people will know about it. That's how a lot of people learn about franchises is through things that Death Battle has covered.
true, actually.
So all they need to do is one, and then boom, you got it from there. This one,
we got-
who of you knows who the people on the left are? If you didn't read it when it was posted,
The Jet Force Gemini. The Jet Force Gemini. I totally didn't look it up.
that's fine. Jet Force Gemini is the game that I believe essentially inspired Ratchet and Clank on the N64. It's very flawed, but very ahead of its time. When me and Chris played this, I believe this year, and immediately we were like, oh, we should have them fight Ratchet and Clank. He added Rivet and Kit to this, which I think is just way too overkill. But so there's the 3 of them over there. They all share the same arsenal: Juno, Vila, and whatever the fuck the last one, the dog's name is. And they have a little robot above that analyzes things, can shoot people, and act on its own. So it's like I guess that's why he added Rivet and Kit. So it's a 4-on-4. They share arsenals. It's more generic shit where it's like, sometimes they got like blasters, shotguns, beam rifles, stuff like that. Same with Ratchet and Rivet as well. They do share an arsenal within that game, but Ratchet gets more outside of that. The 3 of them on the left hand side have different abilities. Like the dog can fly. Vila, the girl, can swim under the water. Is that her name? Yeah, Vila can swim underwater, and Juno can survive in lava. Just heat does not affect him. Which might help with like a lot of Ratchet and Clank's more crazy like heat-based attacks, like the lava gun. And I think the dynamic would be cool. I think it would be fun to see these characters come back in the limelight, kind of like how I felt with Colt versus Alex. And I think Ratchet needs a good matchup. Even though I like Rocket versus Groot, I think we can explore other avenues. Those were my main points I wanted to hit. I also think that Jet Force Gemini people might actually take speed.
For
I'm gonna have to turn off my camera momentarily.
Ooh.
But so that's what I knew you guys weren't gonna know what this is and not have much to say, so I just kind of wanted to spark notes this one a bit. And it's also Chris's, so he's not gonna mind if we kind of move past it a little bit. But I like Ratchet and Clank. It's my favorite game franchise of all time. Every single game is a joy, except for one exception. And we should see it return on Death Battle, just not against Jack, because Jack still loses, even harder now. Now, we got the Mask versus this guy.
Well, this is Fumihiko Takaba from JJK. His whole thing. So he is a down on his luck comedian who thinks he's really funny, but nobody else thinks he's funny. The whole thing of him that kind of really makes him interesting as a character is he's a kind of minor reality warper, where as long as he finds something funny, that thing will happen.
Yeah, it's kind of like a Toon Force sort of thing, where like it's kind of like Bugs Bunny, where so long as he finds the joke funny, it will happen.
Yeah,
Which I think
it's called comedian, which it's a very powerful technique. It manifests in like multiple different like scenarios, but it like relies on the absolute confidence and assurance of the user to activate. And if at any moment he doesn't find the joke funny, comedian won't work. But he can literally do anything. Like he's like exercised special grade curses by having them run over with a truck because he found that funny, you know?
Yeah. I think that does kind of pair with the mask well, because the mask is also like that kind of Bugs Bunny reality warper, Toon Force type thing, where he's just constantly doing things because he finds them funny with his own sense of humor. So the basics of the fight would be both the mask and Takaba trying to be funny, not really being funny, and then just pulling out a bunch of crazy stuff in order, just finding themselves the funniest thing on the planet. And I think that's kind of a fun fight dynamic.
Yeah, you can really do whatever you want here, because it's like, as long as it's funny to talk about, he can just do it.
Yeah, and the mask can just like do whatever he wants.
Yeah.
I kind of like this after you guys explained it more than Beetlejuice mask.
Yeah, that's because Beetlejuice mask is bad.
Well, I think there's some fun things you can do with it, even if I am kind of sold on Beetlejuice versus Ghostbusters.
As well. Oh no, Beetlejuice versus yeah, that's a good matchup as well. But this one, I think this is a cool enough matchup. It's fun, it's funny, it's kind of debatable because just the nature of how comedian work just kind of make Takaba an unstoppable force.
Do stats matter?
No, because they can just kind of say no to damage.
Okay.
Yeah.
Stats really would matter.
Imagine that's the guy that beat Sukuna.
Like he did go up against Kenjaku. That is his that's like his most impressive fight, is the fight with Kenjaku. And he had Kenjaku on the back foot for a while.
That's fucking crazy.
Because like, what can he do again? But he does follow the JJK trend of like, here's an interesting character who would be very interesting to explore. Oh, he's gone now. He does not appear long.
Yeah.
That's sad. I like that. I like his idea. And
he's cool.
He's really funny.
And this is the last one.
Yeah, I would have liked if he stuck around longer. Alright.
This is all you, Dark Lord. This is the last one. Deadpool versus Gintoki.
Okay, I like this matchup. I think it's fun. So it's basically like two parodies of their, basically East versus West, and they're both parodies of the kind of stuff that they're meant for. Like Deadpool is meant to kind of like parody and like kind of poke fun at Marvel, while Gintoki is meant to poke fun at like the tropes of manga and anime. And they're both like mercenaries. They're both like mercenaries for hire, but they're always like dead broke. So a lot of their escapades are like them trying to get money, or like interacting with like the police of their world, or like other characters who can give them around, or other characters. Yeah, it's a pretty simple matchup overall, but I think it's pretty fun.
I was just gonna say, I would like to write for Deadpool. I feel like he hasn't had a good episode yet.
That's actually fair.
Yeah.
Like, I really like Deadpool. He's a very interesting character, just from like a story perspective. Personally, just as a matchup, I prefer Postal Dude versus Deadpool. But this is definitely a fun alt to where it's like, I'd be down to do this. I like Deadpool. He just hasn't had a good episode. I'm hot take. Okay, Ryan Reynolds ruined Deadpool. I'm not gonna lie to you. At least at least Ryan Reynolds ruined how Death Battle betrayed Deadpool.
Yeah, I do kind of agree
Yeah.
with that. So
He is...
the one I like the most is probably the first one, because it didn't go off the wall. But then you got Deadpool Pinkie Pie, which was, and then you had Deadpool Mask, which was the whole point was to make Deadpool a fucking joke the entire time, which I was
Yeah,
like,
the whole episode concept is let's kill Deadpool, and then he comes back in the end anyway.
Yeah. Like, I think that, like, Deadpool versus Deathstroke, I think overall it was a good episode, but, like, I'd like a Deadpool matchup where the other character can get in on the meta jokes and, like, poke fun at, like, the idea of they're trapped in, like, a versus show or something. Because, like, I think Deathstroke versus Deathstroke is a very well choreographed episode. It's a very fun episode, but like I hesitate to say it's a good Deadpool episode. If you get me.
No, I understand
It's
that.
a good, yeah, it's a good episode, but it's not a really good Deadpool episode.
Yeah, that's like I would like to write for Deadpool. He's like a really cool comic character. I'd like to deep dive him.
Yeah.
He's not getting the first continuity stone. I can tell you that right now.
How does Gintoki fight? I also don't know the tone of Gintama because all I'm basing my knowledge on is the openings, and sometimes they look like the goofiest shit ever, and sometimes it looks like the hardest shit I've ever seen. So is it more?
Gintama, like 85 to 90% of the time, it's like a really goofy show. It's like meant to be poking fun because like they had a filler episode in the anime, and the entire plot of the episode was about poking fun at filler episodes, and like that's kind of the whole thing. But like there are episodes in Gintama, like especially close to the end, where you get to see that like Gintoki, he's not just like some cynical wisecracking mercenary. He's like actually like kind of depressed, and like he kind of wants something else with his life. Like he's a war vet.
He can do a Kamehameha.
What?
That's what Dario just said. Wooden sword, a Kamehameha, and various random things he is able to.
Yeah,
use.
like yeah, Gintoki, he has like a bunch of different parody stuff of like different manga. Like obviously he's parodied Dragon Ball. Like name a popular shonen or like a manga in general, and Gintama has parodied it in the past. But like close to the end of the show, it like does actually start to take itself a little seriously, and like kind of show that Gintama, like beneath the whole jokester bit, he is actually like a deep character. I think that like tonally he like kind of fits Deadpool really well in that they both kind of like joke and poke fun at the audience and stuff as kind of like a sort of defense mechanism against like addressing their own problems, because if they're constantly laughing, then they don't really have to be like sad. Then they don't have the chance to be sad, if you kind of get what I'm saying, or like show how miserable they are. It's like, remember, Deadpool's entire thing is like he's constantly regenerating cancerous bodies, so like he's always in pain, so he's making the jokes in order to try and distract himself from the pain. And Gintoki is trying to like cope with like the whole war thing and how he lost, and now like his entire world has changed and he doesn't really have a place in it. Yeah, I think there's a lot of like really cool thematic things you can do with this matchup, and like honestly I think this is my favorite for Deadpool, but I still do really like Postal Dude as an alt, so I'd be down if we did Deadpool versus Postal Dude, but like if I had a choice for a Deadpool episode, I would pick Gintoki. I think he like bounces off of what Deadpool does perfectly. And he has a ton of different stuff in order to be able to like give the merc with a mouth a run for his money. And yeah.
I mean, I think it sounds fun.
I was say, and yeah, you did hear, folks.
Yeah, that's the last one we had. Sadly, everyone's gone, but we got Saul at the end, so that's good.
Yeah.
Yay.
Got off my shift an hour early.
Oh yeah. And
It's
we
good
did
that we
it.
stopped now because I was like 5:30 and got to cut off. How long have we been going?
Yeah, I think we started at like 2:15.
You started as soon as I got to my job.
3 hours and 18 minutes ago.
Oh
Yeah.
God.
I got there, you guys were basically just starting, and then I got out, got home, and you guys were still here.
That's crazy. Hopefully, Tennis, after this is done, he just showed up in the chat. After this is done, I want you to comment more clarification on Agumon versus Second Coming. I want to understand it a little more. But I gotta go for now. 5:35. I timed that perfectly. Let's be
Hey guys,
real.
I was here. I want to submit some cool matchups. That's all.
Yeah.
Next week.
What
Huh?
did I was like, what did I submit for that? Because I did submit before I realized.
Oh, you weren't gonna be here, so I didn't add him.
No, I know you didn't, but I was like, what did I? Oh, Dr. Constantine, Magneto, Dracula, and Lex, Tokamada.
Yeah.
I'm sure I
remember-
can find other casts to talk about these.
There's a lot of
Yeah.
topics. Next week, Saul is also working, so we're not going to be able to have him on. The original plan was next week to do like a big like show reveal, have a trailer set. But because Saul's not available, I kind of want him to be there. He's a very important part of the show, as are everyone. And so we're going to push that back to October and do a cast next week. We have not decided. I want to do one Saul doesn't care about, so he's not missing anything. We were thinking Tokusatsu. If you don't care.
Go
you don't
ahead.
care. Go ahead. So
Right
yeah,
ahead.
maybe next time we'll do Tokusatsu and we can have the Dark Lore show where Dark Lore gets to go off on all of his favorite ones. The only one I know
Oh my
and like
God.
is Ultraman Zero versus Gohan, so I'll throw that one in.
Yeah, that's definitely going to be a fun time, but like it probably would also be a shorter one because like not as many people would get to like put in matchups because like nobody cares about Kamen Rider in this community, baby. Let's go.
It's not just Kamen Rider.
I think
There's also Super
Another-
Sentai and all that.
another
Yeah,
one
well,
wouldn't
I mean-
care about that was suggested is the fighting game cast.
Oh, that's another one too.
That's another one I'm not a fighting game person, and there's not a lot of fighting game matchups I'm passionate about.
Yeah, I'm kind of in the same boat. I'm kind of in the same boat where I don't really care about a lot of fighting games. I think that a fighting game cast would definitely be really fun, though. Yeah, I don't know. We'll figure things out. But,
Maybe you never know. I could even have that day off. Things can change very quickly.
That'd be so
Maybe.
funny. We're delaying the announcement so Saul can work. Day comes. We're doing this cast, but we're still delaying the announcement.
Yeah,
I'm
none
not
of
like, "Hi,
you
guys."
get to see it yet because we're greedy.
But
Anyways.
yeah, that's all we have for today.
Yeah, I
is-
skipped lunch in order to do this, so I'm gonna go eat dinner now. I'll catch you all on the flip side.
All right, I gotta remember how to stop my stream. Figured it out.
Don't forget to watch
See-
Kamen Rider.
See ya.
So the Doctor versus John Constantine would be a very cool run back for the Doctor because out of all of